EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. Another week in the books, and we are 6 days out from the NFL draft. Everybody is patiently waiting. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen, the number one Eagles beat reporter in town, and we are Birds 365 all through the offseason, all through the year. We will keep you covered every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. for the Philadelphia Eagles. Johnny Mac, how you doing in this Football Friday, brother?
Doing well. Happy Good Friday for all the people who are, into that. And if you're not, we're here for you. But either way, we're here for you. Birds 365. So a lot of people taking it easy today, gearing up for the big draft. For me, it's WrestleMania weekend, so that's a bigger deal. I got to get through that. But
Holy Week too, as you mentioned, obviously Good Friday. So Easter's a big weekend. So a lot of stuff going on this weekend, John.
Exactly. So hopefully you stick with us for one more morning, and then we get in the draft week and we're off and running again.
Yep, no doubt about it. Good stuff with draft week. A lot of stuff on the TV this weekend for this weekend. NBA playoffs are kicking off. The NHL playoffs are kicking off. Anything you're going to tune into, Johnny Mac? You going to watch some NBA playoffs?
No, WrestleMania. I just said
just WrestleMania. That's just it this weekend. How about later in the NBA playoffs? Will you watch any of the?
Yeah, later. Yeah, later I will.
And they get better, obviously, each series as it dwindles down. But going to be interesting to see. I haven't followed the NBA enough to have an educated take on who could be a real contender to win this year. But Boston's a safe bet. And LeBron and Luka are another probably safe bet because I don't know. It seems like that team is getting hot at the right time. We will see what all happens with that. I want to welcome and thank everybody for being here this morning. We got a great show planned for you guys. We'll take some chats in hour number 2. Your guys' questions on the NFL draft, your guys' questions on the offseason, the moves, anything that's out there on the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe even Jordan Davis. We haven't heard much about that. That's upcoming. I think you'll learn more about what they're going to do there based on what they do in the NFL draft. But we will talk about that. Good to see my guy, Joe Whipp. Joe Whipp was golfing yesterday, and he won our giveaway, John. And Joe's been waiting to win the giveaway. So, Joe, good to see you back in here. I'll coordinate with you about that.
What'd he win?
He won a Super Bowl shirt, and that's it. A nice Eagles Super Bowl shirt.
All right. Super Bowl champions. Gotta take pride in that.
We got a bunch of the Super Bowl merch. Yep, we got a bunch of the Super Bowl merch. So we're going to give away a couple more things today. For those who are interested in that, stick around after the show, and I will do some giveaways for you guys as well because I had a run yesterday. So we got some extra giveaways to do today. Appreciate all you guys being here. John, what I want to do for everybody today is go through that top 30 list, and I want to tell the people these are your round 1 targets or high round 2 targets. These are your day 2 targets, round 2, round 3. These are your day 3 targets because the visits are completed, obviously, on who the names that we know. I don't know how many it is. I never added these up, but there's clusters of players. I mean, there's edge rushers, there's offensive tackles and offensive linemen. There are a couple defensive tackles, and then there are a bunch of secondary players. I think there's 4 corners and 4 safeties. So a bunch of that, and then 2 running backs. So it's kind of clustered out. They're almost tipping their hand in what they want to do. But I do want to rank them and categorize them by what round they are projected to go so that the fans have an idea. Hey, I'm watching the draft. It's round 3. Who did the Eagles talk to that could be available in round 3? I'd like the people to know that because it is a lot of names for people that aren't locked in on the NFL draft. So let's start, John, with round 1 and run through that list of names. Before we start, I want to read off the list of names just based on what we have. So we have Iowa State offensive tackle Jalen Travis, NC State offensive tackle Anthony Belton, Purdue offensive tackle Marcus Mbo, Oregon offensive tackle Josh Connerly, Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Hairston, SMU edge rusher Elijah Roberts, Boston College edge Donovan Izaraku, Miami edge Tyler Barron, Texas running back Jaden Blue, one of 2 running backs that were in, William and Mary offensive tackle Charles Grant, Ohio State guard Donovan Jackson, UCLA edge Oluwafemi Oladejo. We call him Femi. I'll stick with that.
Femi.
That's a lot. Yeah, Femi Oladejo. Georgia guard Dylan Fairchild. Texas A&M defensive tackle Shamar Turner, Kansas State cornerback Jacob Parrish, Texas A&M edge Nick Scorton, Ole Miss cornerback Trey Amos, South Carolina defensive tackle TJ Sanders, Penn State safety Jalen Reed, USC cornerback Jalen Smith, Ohio State defensive tackle Tyleek Williams, Penn State linebacker Kobe King, Georgia safety Malachi Starks. That'll excite some people. West Virginia offensive tackle Wyatt Millum, Syracuse running back LaKin Allen, Navy safety Raywan Lane III, and Minnesota cornerback Justin Wally. So there is your list of names that we have reported on top 30 visits. Johnny Mac, let's start with the round one, brother, of what options or maybe targeted trade up or even maybe a couple spots back to trade back. A couple of the names that stick out or a couple of the names on this list that would fit into that equation.
Well, I did this exercise on SI, so everybody can check it out. SI.com/NFL/Eagles. I call it my Eagles top 30 visit tiers. The last edition 3.0. Who knows? There might be one more of other names trickle out, but
right.
And that's basically what I do. So, tier 1, for instance, is the first round pick, which is number 32 or a targeted trade up. So, who belongs in that position if you have to stay put or you have to go up a few spots? And I don't think the Eagles would be going up more than 5 spots. So say 27-ish, somewhere in that range. And I think 3 people fit that definition of the guys they looked at. And that's Josh Connerly, the Oregon offensive tackle. Donovan Ezeraku, the Boston College edge rusher, and Malachi Starks, as you mentioned, which is probably the name that would excite people the most. I think those are the 3 players that belong in that sort of category. And then you have tier 2, which is the trade down guys. So to me, I want to get value and move a little bit down from 32. And there's a whole group in there. The 2 corners, Ole Miss is Trey Amos, Maxwell Hairston of Kentucky, Donovan Jackson, who I think might be the best fit for the Eagles in this draft, just for a day one perspective.
Yeah, he's a plug and play guy instantly.
Yeah.
Yep.
TJ Sanders, defensive tackle from South Carolina, Nick Scorton, who I also like a lot, but I want to get value. Like, I don't want to sit there and take him at 32 or certainly trade up. So, sometimes you have to. But those are the guys that should be in the equation, whether it's 32, targeted trade up, targeted trade down. Those are the names that I think are in that equation. And obviously, there's other guys on the Eagles board that they're probably so confident in, they didn't need to look at them. They didn't need to bring them in. So by no means are those the only names available, but of the guys we do know that came in, those are the players I think you should be looking at as potential first picks for the Eagles, wherever that comes off.
And so there's 8 names for you guys on the potential first pick. We may or may not get a pick even on day one. So we teased this 6 days from the NFL draft. Yesterday it was 7 days from the NFL draft. We might not even get a pick on day one if the Eagles decide to trade back. So I think we all hope they take a pick on Thursday, but honestly, let's just hope that they do what's the best move for the Birds and maximize the draft. But it will stink if we go Thursday night and we don't even get an Eagles pick. Maybe they'll announce something for the Birds on that night. John, of those 8 players, who's your favorite for the Birds? Who do you think fits this well? Now, I know you mentioned what's his name, Johnson as a
Jackson
as a day one starter. I think Malachi falls into that same boat of if you draft him, Sidney Brown, go back to the bench. I think he's going to be your starter safety day one. A couple of the picks there that you think fit the Eagles the best or that you like for the Birds.
Yeah, I like Jackson. As I said, I think he'd be a plug and play guy, right guard, day one starter. I like Scorton for a couple reasons. One, he adds some much needed size to the edge. Plus, it's a need position. Yeah, I'm with you. with Malachi Starks from a talent standpoint, but when I look at the top three guys I mentioned, which are Connerly, Ezeraku, Starks, they'll all be good fits. But the question is, how much do you have to give up? I think, if you ask me who just the best player the Eagles have brought in, I would say it's Ezeraku. But, I don't know if I hesitate to think that he's going to be there at 32. Not that it's possible, not impossible. He's undersized. He doesn't have the kind of length that you typically want from an edge rusher. So there's a possibility teams look at him a little bit differently and say, well, there's some limitations there from that perspective. But, he's so productive and on the college level, I got to believe somebody's going to take a shot at a valuable position around the league. And then he's also undersized. So, again, I've been talking about it for a while. Then you have him and Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt and Azeez Ojulari. What do they all have in common? They're all undersized for the position. And that's why I like Scorton as the fit a little bit better, even though his ceiling isn't quite as high, more versatile, can kick him inside. With Starks, and people will say, well, Quinyon and Cooper did it as young defensive backs, but it's really complicated system, and it's different for the safeties. Like they have to know more than the corners, and they have to communicate more.
Right.
So I hesitate. I think if they get a player like that, people will be saying that. Well, Quinyon and Cooper hit the ground running and assume. And I think safety is a much different position, much more responsibility. So I think there might be more of a ramp up period there.
I don't know. Well, I agree with you that there's going to be a sense of people think that it will just work out perfectly because of Quinyon and Cooper. There's no doubt about that. But just from this player, I mean, John started 39 straight games at Georgia, started early in his career. Like, I do think he's a super high football IQ guy, and that's actually what makes him great. Like Emenwari, for example, is a little more raw, but he's got this crazy athleticism, so people are enamored by him. I think Malachi is actually the opposite, where he's a polished, much more ready-to-play guy, maybe with not as much athleticism or upside on that stuff. So I think Starks really has a good chance to start, and it doesn't have much to do with Quinyon, but I do understand what you're saying.
Well, I think he would have a very good chance to start. I'm just worried about the performance of it and people jumping on to the thought that he's a disappointment because there's some busted coverages, and you know how this town is. So I'm a little, the Eagles will say you can't be concerned about that. And they're right. But I do think even with all the experience at the college level, he's probably more ready for somebody like Emenwara, but I don't think either would be ready to handle this system. And, when we talked about one of the reasons they like Reed Blankenship so much, and one of the many reasons Slay got in trouble was saying he's the leader, he's the guy, even though Vic said it. And CJ got a little bit upset about that. It's not easy to play that defense. And safety's different than corner. And corner was rare. I mean, I say that about corners. It's the same thing. If for some reason Hairston's here or Amos is here, you're going to have that immediate comparison. It's not fair, number one, but number two, it's an easier position from a communication standpoint. Not that it's easy, but it's far easier than safety, where you're making sure everybody on the back seven is lined up, and you have to communicate with the linebackers as well as the corners and your fellow safeties. So
it reminds me of how you talk about coaches, where it's like it's a bigger job than people think. It's not just about playing football at that position. There's a lot more other things.
Yeah, it's a little bit, a little bit. The middle linebacker is usually the quarterback of the defense, but probably if you went down the league, from a traditional standpoint, you'd probably lean, because so few linebackers play. It's still mostly linebacker. You probably got 10 to 15 guys who are the leaders of their particular defense playing safety. That's how much the game has changed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good stuff there, Johnny Mac, on the players there. John, the one thing I'll say about this list of names, and we got 8 names here of guys who are, I think we hit the nail on the head in terms of who would be taken potentially with their first overall pick. Doesn't exclude all the people they didn't bring in, but does it tell anything about the players they didn't bring in? Like, we have talked a lot about Walter Nolan. We've talked a lot about James Pierce. We've talked a lot about a bunch of players that maybe could slip a little bit, maybe won't, but could slip. Obviously, a bunch of these players are like mocked at 10 or 30, depending on where, who you read, but none of them came in. No Walter, no James. Does that mean the Eagles don't like them? Does that mean they think they're not going to be there? What does that tell us about those players? Have we been getting excited at the potential of many of these guys for a whole lot of nothing, or is it still a good possibility they land them?
Yeah, it's still, in the case of somebody like Walter Nolan, it might be as simple as like the Eagles already made their decision. If he's there, they're going to take him, that type of thing.
So it could be the opposite.
Like, it could be
could be the Rams approach. I don't need anything. I just, if the player's there, I'll take them.
If you believe in, and they certainly believe in Dom, Howie mentioned him again, if they believe in their, and you might, there's the subterfuge comes into it. Because a lot of teams are concerned about some off the field stuff with Walter Nolan. So, they want to play into those things just like they did with Jalen Carter. And maybe they've already made the decision and said, we're strong enough to handle that. Let's get them. So I wouldn't rule out players because they weren't on top 30 visits. I see a lot of, I'm disappointed they didn't bring this guy in. These things are about information gathering. If you already have all the information you need, why do you have to gather?
You're not going to waste the visit just to say hi to a player,
Yeah. So you're trying to figure out on guys you may still have questions about for whatever reason. Maybe you missed them at their pro day, maybe whatever. There's only a certain amount of time you have. But the Eagles' recent history, and since, they've gone on this little run, is they draft a lot of guys they bring in for top 30 visits. But not everyone. So there will be people they draft that were not in here for top 30 visits. No question about that. I mean, so it's not some be all end all type of thing.
No, yeah, I agree for sure. And then the couple players I do think if they do slip, that's where I think that targeted trade up conversation, as we discussed, could come into play. Ezraku, Starks, Connerly, if they really like Connerly. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing on that. John, the one thing I was thinking yesterday, Howie mentioned in his pre-draft presser how aggressive he likes to be, in his nature to be aggressive. All right. The whole NFL seems like they're zigging right now. Everybody wants out of the first round. I want to trade back. I want to trade back. You want to trade back. Is Howie going to zag and say, give me my guy. I'm trading up to 26, 27, and I'm getting my guy, Malachi Starks, or somebody like that. I think I could see it, man. I know we've talked about it here on the show, but, I was just thinking about that and then coupling it with Howie's comment of, I'm aggressive by nature. I like to be aggressive. I could see him going and getting his guy in a draft where a lot of people want to fall back.
Yeah, I mean, he is, and that's been one of his strengths, aggressiveness. He's not risk averse is a term they always use. Jeffrey always uses. And it's served them well over the years. And he does often bring up, like, you don't want to go along with the crowd. You don't want to be. That's how you turn into a 500 team. You can't be 500 now because they're playing 17 games like a bunch of idiots. But back in the days when you're
18 soon, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But back in the days when you could be 8-8, that's what groupthink gets you. 8-8. And Andrew Berry, when he left here, put Howie's quote on the on his whiteboard in his office, and basically paraphrasing was, if you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to do something that could get you fired.
Right.
Talking about those risks and the cost benefit of them. So yeah, I mean but to me it's about who's that player. I don't think it's anybody they brought in. I don't think they're going to dive into the pool and saying, "Oh, this is my guy." This is the two guys that might fit that category are Nolan, because that's probably a top 15 level talent that's going to fall a little bit,
right.
And Derek Harmon at the same position, the Oregon kid at defensive tackle that people have. You know, he's to me a top 15 talent, but for whatever reason,
the hype train hasn't been as big on him so far this year, but he's a damn good player if you watch his tape.
But if I look at those top 30 visits, that player doesn't exist from an upside standpoint to take that kind of risk. And that's my problem with this draft. This draft is not great. So the point is, if you want to talk about the more liberal people saying there's 15 guys, well, I think Nolan and Harmon are one of those 15 guys. I don't think anybody they brought in is one of those 15 guys that are, and then you go from say 15 to 50 and everybody's could have jumbled up. So that's to me, that's a bad decision to go up and get one of those guys. But I don't know who that player would be for the Eagles. That's just a guess. I mean, they have an obvious need at defensive tackle. And those are two guys that are have a much bigger ceiling than where they're projected to go. And it's about stuff that doesn't involve football.
Good stuff there, Johnny Mac. John, let's move into tier 3, brother. So that was tier 1 and tier 2 that we gave you potential first picks for the Eagles. Just to recap it real quick, Josh Connerly, Donovan Ezeraku, Malachi Starks were tier 1, potential targeted trade up guys. Tier 2, Trey Amos, Maxwell Hairston, Nick Scorton, Donovan Jackson, and TJ Sanders. So that was your tier 1 and tier 2 guys. Now moving into tier 3, Johnny Mac, maybe that pick 64 or that later second round pick. I don't know if a couple of these guys are maybe even round 3 picks that maybe you drop back from 64 or you trade up in round 3, because day 2, if I'm not mistaken, is round 2 and 3, right? So we'll have 2 picks slotted for day 2 as it stands right now.
Yeah. Yes, they are. But
so the end of each round is, again, not that exciting.
Well, there's not quite the end of the third round, but that's because of compensatory picks. But they have the last natural pick, so to speak, of the third round. So it is 64 and 96 to start. You know, from my tier perspective, I did it as 64 or targeted trade up as tier 3. And those are the guys that you hope kind of falls. And they're probably not going to be there. But I can't justify taking them earlier. Right. So you kind of have to cross your fingers and say, all right, somebody doesn't like this kid. And to me, it's Anthony Belton, who's, he's the closest thing to Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, that's what I see too. Yep.
He's a natural tackle, but he's massive. You move him inside, and maybe have that heir apparent to Lane Johnson down the road as well. Now, again, I don't think he's going to be there at 60. I don't think any of these players are going to be there at 64. So it's probably going to have to be more of a trade up. But if one of them starts to slip, it might be interesting. And
it's a little easier to trade up in this round too, right?
Yeah.
Like compared to round 1, obviously. Like you could package a couple of those 5s maybe and probably move up if needed.
Yeah, and again, only if they start slipping. You're not going to go way up.
Yeah, right.
And some of these players may go way before. Like Belton, there's some talk. I've seen some that say the ceiling is so high, somebody might jump on him at the end of the first round. But I can't do that. Charles Grant, the William & Mary offensive tackle, very similar. Tremendous athlete. really, really high ceiling, but he played at William and Mary. I mean, the ceiling is so high, one of these teams might jump on him early, but for the Eagles, I can't see it. Same thing with Femi. You mentioned Femi Oladejo. He's got a massive ceiling, so I can see somebody, but the Eagles already have a raw pass rushing prospect that's pretty good. And Jalix Hunt. You want another one?
Right.
He was an off-ball linebacker. They switched him to edge, and all of a sudden, everybody's super interested. I think the Eagles already have that guy. So unless he balls, I'm not thinking about him until that spot. And then Tyleek Williams from Ohio State, and that tells you a lot about Jordan Davis. That is a 2-down run defender. So if they draft a kid like that, and he might go well before 64, but if they draft a kid like that, that tells you, all right, this is Jordan Davis's last year in Philadelphia.
That's trouble for Jordan Davis if they take Tyleek Williams.
Yeah. So that is my tier 3, which is 64. If guys start to slip or that targeted trade up. Then you have tier 4, which is 96 in the 3rd round, or a trade up in round 4. They don't have a 4th round pick. So they would have to do something to get, if one of these guys slips into day 3. But it would be Dylan Fairchild, who's interior player for Georgia.
Offensive lineman, yep.
Yeah, in theory, he's a natural guard, but Jeff Stoutland, if he gets him, he'll work him at all 3 positions.
He's got the wrestling background, right?
He's got a wrestling background.
What does that mean? Like he did like wrestling in high school or something like
that? Yeah. And there's a lot of success with those guys. That's why
absolutely
bring it up. Wyatt Millam, the offensive tackle from West Virginia, but he's projected to move inside because he's got shorter arms. So one of those things. Marcus Embo from Purdue, same thing. Tackle at Purdue, projected to move inside. He doesn't strike me as an Eagles player at all, because he's more of an athlete than a mauler. And you can say, well, what about Kelsey? Well, Kelsey's a center. That's a little bit different. But if you notice at guard, they want Brandon Brooks. They want Mekhi Becton. They want
Landon Dickerson.
Yeah. They want maulers. And last year, I think, only proved to them they're doing it the right way. So he doesn't strike me as a fit. And then Jacob Parrish, who's you're going to see a lot of this too. Outside corner in college, who's projected to play inside in the slot. And the Eagles need a backup for Cooper DeJean. One of the underrated losses from a depth standpoint is Avonte Maddox. I know fans didn't like him at the end, but he's a backup nickel. He's a backup not backup. He was the dime player. He's a backup safety. So he played 4 different positions as a backup. And Parrish is sort of that slot guy. I think he's a no man's land player for the Eagles. I think he's going to go. You can't take a slot player when you have Cooper DeJean in the 2nd round again. You want a backup. So to me, if he slips, and he probably won't slip, so I think he's kind of a no man's land player. And then Jalen Reed, the Penn State safety, is in that category. Again, versatility, that's a big thing with some of these defensive backs they brought in. Can play big nickel, played safety.
To be able to do that, yep.
Yeah. So he's in that category. Elijah Roberts, the edge rusher, is in that category. And Shamar Turner, the defensive tackle. Those are all the guys, to me, that are day 3 or a trade up in the day 4 options. The top of day 4, 4th round, because they're not going to be here. For those who don't know, the Eagles only have 4 picks right now on day 3, and they're all in the 5th round.
Right.
And they're all jumbled up. I think it's 161, 164, 165, 168. They don't have a 4th round pick. To get those types of players, they have to move up into the 4th round. So that is that's that tier, sort of end of third round, top of fourth round, maybe a little bit trade up.
There you go. Which of those players, John, do you like the most for the Eagles? I know you mentioned Mbo. Makes a lot of sense what you said. Not a mauler, kind of a an athletic type of player. Probably doesn't fit. The Parrish conversation is interesting. If you draft him and you want him to play slot, what does that mean for Cooper DeJean? Does it foreshadow that they do want to get Cooper DeJean outside? I think that conversation is still lingering, especially when you see the contracts come down this summer.
Yeah,
Cooper's agent's calling. Hey, man, I know Vic said he likes you in the slot, but that one dude made 100 million. The other guy made 40. We might want to try and get outside. So that conversation's interesting. If you get a guy like JAKIB Parrish, Jalen Reed, the safety is an interesting one, and then obviously. Now this was tier 3, but Tyleik Williams was interesting. Oladejo, Grant, and Belton. I love Belton, man. It's funny. Belton is just like Becton, and their names are different by one letter. So it's Belton and Becton. There you go. So, but I do like Anthony Belton. John, which of these names do you like as fits for the Eagles the most?
Well, in that second grouping, I like them all from a talent perspective. Those are guys to me that are kind of pie in the sky because none of them are going to be there at 64.
You're talking about tier 3? You're talking about like
Belton, I'm talking about Belton.
Williams.
Yeah, that tier 3,
gotcha.
Belton, Grant, Oladejo, and Williams.
Gotcha.
I don't think any are going to be there at 64. I can't take them early with that first pick, wherever that first pick goes. And as I said, they're not going to be there at 64. So a bunch of no man's land players, but if one of them
you'd have to trade up from 64 without altering your first pick, really, basically.
Yeah, which is difficult. And again, you're talking about raw players. In the case of Grant, you talk about the level of competition. In the case of Oladejo, lack of experience, very Jelix Hunt-ish. Didn't play, played at a high level college in UCLA, but from the standpoint of just being a raw prospect, just turned to the edge position from being an all-ball linebacker. So you have some size issues as well, which we've talked about. And even Belton, while I make that comparison, look, he's played as offensive tackle. So, right away, you have to pick Jeff Stoutland's mind and say, can this guy play guard? I just like some of the similarities to Becton from the standpoint of if you're playing linebacker, you almost have to choose. You almost have to guess on the gap because they're so big and they're so powerful. They block out the sun. And all of a sudden, if you dip inside, there goes Saquon outside. Or if you go outside, there he cuts it back. So I like some of that ability. And then Williams, after for what the Eagles are going through with Jordan Davis, who's who's better than Williams, but he's been a 2-down player. How high do you want to take a 2-down player to get a little bit worse? I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, in theory, you would save on the contract coming up.
Well, yeah, you're restarting the contract
right.
clock. So that part of it makes some sense. But from the standpoint of 13 million, like I think you can get through 2026 with Jordan Davis and say, guess what? It may seem like a lot. You see the contracts, that's half of what Milton Williams got. It's nothing.
It's not that much.
No. So I'm thinking of it as I got 2 years with that guy, minimum. And if he does develop further and can play more on third down, great. If he doesn't, I got 2 years with him. That's how I would look at it. And by the time, and Williams will probably need 2 years to get up to speed to be where Davis was 2 years ago. So it just doesn't make sense to me. But, we'll see. And plus, he's not going to be there at 64. And I'm sure as hell not taking him as a 2-down player with my first pick, wherever that pick is.
No, that's not even an option. I don't think it would be. Maybe if they wanted to go up to 60 or 58 or 56 or somewhere in that range and grab him. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah. So And then when you talk about the tier 4 guys, which is 96, or you trade up to round 4, that a lot of that depends on like what you got earlier. Like, did you get an offensive
Exactly.
lineman?
Right. Like, yeah.
If you didn't get an offensive lineman, then all of a sudden they start to get invested. Did you get an offensive lineman, but you didn't get the defensive lineman? Then Shamar Turner and Elijah Roberts become more of a part of the equation. So to me, but from the standpoint of who fits the Eagles well, like I said, I don't think Embo fits the Eagles. I don't think Parrish fits the Eagles.
What didn't you like about Parrish for the Eagles? Sorry, I didn't.
Well, he's going to be a nickel corner, and if Cooper's playing in the nickel, at least short term. Now, to your point, if they want to revisit that conversation because of the business aspect, yeah, then I'll reopen the conversation. But they don't want to seem to do that yet. They might have to do that down the road. And are you really going to, spend that kind of value on a backup player that's projected to be a backup player? I don't like that thought process. And I think Turner would offer more value if you haven't gotten the defensive tackle. I think Roberts has some interesting versatility. He can play inside, outside, so he can give you sort of a Brandon Graham, not as a player. Please don't think I'm comparing them as a player, but some of that inside, outside versatility if you need it.
I think Vic likes that versatility too, so it's definitely worth mentioning at this point.
And Jalen Reed as well has that kind of versatility. Played safety at Penn State when there was an injury. Before that, he's sort of a big nickel hero type player. So he's got some versatility. But a lot to me depends on, like, if they don't get the offensive lineman, then Millam and Fairchild are involved. And if they didn't get the defensive lineman, and Roberts and Turner are involved. So that will depend on who they get earlier in the draft.
Yeah, no, good. Well stated. We'll see what ends up happening there. John, moving into the final tier. These are your later picks. All right. John mentioned you got 4 round 5 picks. Okay. I don't anticipate, they're all in the 160s. It's possible Howie doesn't make one pick in the 160s. He could move these things to shake and bake all over the place, up, down, backwards, sideways, you name it. Howie will do it. But these are the players that are in that tier 5 category. Johnny Mack, you want to start it up?
Yeah, I got Tyler Barron, who's the edge from Miami.
Yep.
Jaden Blue's the running back from Texas. Kobe King, linebacker from Penn State. LaKent Allen, running back from Syracuse, who's from Millville, New Jersey, for the local people. Did I mention King? I think so. Penn State. Jalen Smith, another nickel potential guy from Southern Cal. Jalen Travis, the big lengthy tackle. And Justin Wally, the last guy that we know of from Minnesota, another slot guy. So to me, I like the thought of finding the backup slot here. And I like you need backup linebackers. You lost Oren Burks. We know Nakobe Dean, difficult rehab. I'm okay, with Trotter starting for a couple games at the start of the season, but you need depth. You need backup linebackers, and Ben Van Sumeren is going to play fullback now. So, Kobe King is interesting, more of a 2-down linebacker, not very good in coverage, bigger, so he offers you that. So guys like him and Jalen Smith and Justin Wally, I think it's a perfect position for them. And then the running back, if you can find, like Allen, to me is the perfect Kenny Gainwell replacement. It's the best receiving back in college football, way ahead as a pass protector for normal rookie running backs like Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue he's another guy. I'm like, what? Jaden Blue?
Yeah, right.
Like he's unbelievably fast, explosive, but he bumbles all the time. He can't pass protect. I'm like, What are we doing here?
Yeah. LaKin Allen, though, I like that you like him because, he's a Millville, New Jersey guy. Played at Syracuse, played with Kyle McCord, who's another guy that we've talked about, obviously the St. Joe's Prep kid who transferred over there and had a crazy good season. That's interesting. LaKin Allen, maybe he's a guy who could, could come home. Millville's not Philly, but it's close. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he's very Kenny Gainwell-ish.
Yeah,
almost a template.
And he can block a little bit, right? I mean, we need a running back that can block.
Yeah, exactly. And Kenny, he's probably Kenny turned into pretty good by the time he
wasn't
last
bad.
year. But he wasn't great early. I would say Allen's ahead of the curve early from where Kenny was. And not that they're going to use him a lot, just like Kenny, but if you throw the ball his way, he's going to catch it. And yeah, I like him as a fit if you're trying to get another backup running back. And Barron is he's got NFL size, but he's not the most explosive pass rusher. So to me, he's a great backup type player. And if you don't get something earlier, he's pretty interesting. And then I think it's as I said, it's a perfect spot to find the out slot backup,
right?
Whether that's Jalen Smith or Justin Wally or somebody like that. And both of those guys have versatility. That's, Wally was a 4-year starter, played outside, but he's got to move inside. Smith played safety before he turned into an outside corner. He's played inside corner. So, you could see, and by the way, some of those names, I think the top 30 visits are even more important for sort of day 3 guys. So Allen, Barron, Blue, King, Smith.
Yeah, because it's more likely you can get them because you can shake and bake a lot easier in those rounds versus round 1. I mean, it's hard to get a guy you want.
Yeah. Justin Wally. Well, one or two of those guys is probably going to be an Eagle. Jalen Travis is the one guy I don't think there's a chance because when they brought him in very early, he was one of the earliest guys they brought in.
Yeah, that's right. And then they signed a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, and they signed Kendall Lamb and they signed Matt Pryor. So I'm not sure they need a tall swing tackle option anymore. But if you want to get younger and you like him, even he's a possibility. But he's probably the one that you say isn't a fit.
There you go. There's the breakdown, everybody, of the top 30 visits for the Eagles. A lot of these guys end up in Eagles green. So keep your name or keep your eyes on these names. Like, remember, as John pointed out at the start of the segment, these are not the only options. Okay, there is a whole draft of people, but these are the guys that the Eagles brought in, visited, talked to, and clearly have some level of interest in. Or maybe they just wanted to gain information, but this is what we know, and this is how we broke it out. I will run it by you guys real quick, and then we'll take a commercial break. When we come back, I got some good topics to discuss. I'll get the 2 Super Chats. I see you guys on the Super Chat, so we'll get them. We appreciate you. And in hour number 2 as well, I'll take some comments from the chat for John McMullen on the NFL Draft coming up 6 days from now and 7 days from that day 2, which could be more important for the Philadelphia Eagles. So we will see what happens there. This is the rundown one more time, everybody, for the tiers that we just laid out to you, and I'll read it back to you right now. Tier 1, first round, number 32, or a potential targeted trade up. You have Oregon offensive tackle Josh Connerly, Boston College edge Donovan Izaraku, Georgia safety Malachi Starks. Tier 2, day 2 trade down, think the 40 to 50 range, as John put it. Ole Miss cornerback Trey Amos, Kentucky cornerback Maxwell Hairston, a big fan of him. Ohio State offensive lineman Donovan Jackson, South Carolina DT TJ Sanders, Texas A&M edge Nick Scorton, and then Tier 3, day 2, number 64, or a targeted trade up. NC State offensive tackle Anthony Belton, another version of a Mekhi Becton, Anthony Belton. William & Mary tackle Charles Grant, UCLA edge Femi Oladejo, Ohio State defensive tackle Tyleik Williams, which is a very interesting name. If his name is called, start thinking about Jordan Davis. We'll talk about that. Tier 4, number 96, or a trade up in round 4. You got Dylan Fairchild, the Georgia offensive lineman, West Virginia offensive lineman Wyatt Millum, Purdue offensive lineman Marcus Mbow, Kansas State corner Jacob Parrish, Jalen Reed, the safety from Penn State, Elijah Roberts, the edge from SMU, Texas A&M's defensive tackle Shamar Turner. Those are there for Tier 4. And then finally, Tier 5, those day 3 guys. Syracuse running back Joaquin Allen, interesting guy, and Millville, New Jersey guy. Miami edge Tyler Barron, Texas running back Jaden Blue, Penn State linebacker Kobe King, South Carolina cornerback Jalen Smith, Iowa State tackle Jalen Travis, and finally, Minnesota quarterback Justin Wally. So there's your list of tiers. You guys should be ready to go. All right. So depending on where we are in the draft, these are the names. You can write them down. You can go to John's SI.com article, the tier ranking 3.0, I believe it's titled. I'll read the title, Eagles Top 30 Visit Tiers 3.0, and you can follow along. So when you're watching the draft, you know exactly what names to keep your eye on that will be there or not there. So keep your eye on that. We appreciate everybody being here today. Johnny Mac, when we get back, we'll talk about some good stuff with the draft. I want to talk about Coop. I want to talk about Jordan, Goedert, some rumors about Dallas Goedert. Another rumor that sounds crazy to me, but I'll bring it up to you and see what you think of it. And the other interesting part about this draft is, boy, there's a lot of players on this top 30 visits that we just broke down that if they are drafted, it changes some things on your defense. And what I mean is if you draft Malachi, Sidney Brown, changes. If you draft Tyleek Williams, like John said, what's that mean for Jordan Davis? So we'll talk about some of those changes as well. Jacob Parrish, what's it mean for Cooper DeJean in the slot? So we'll talk about all that. Appreciate all you guys being here. Stay tuned, everybody, on Birds 365. We'll be right back.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. no IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365, a Good Friday edition of Birds 365 here as we prep for a busy weekend. All right, NBA playoffs are kicking off, NHL playoffs are kicking off. You got WrestleMania, as Johnny Mac's been excited for. You got Easter Sunday for the people out there who celebrate that. It's Passover. Everything is going on right now. So hope everybody is enjoying the offseason this April. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Johnny Mac got plenty of stuff here to talk about in this final hour of Birds 365 in the week. Good to see everybody in the chat. Marcus, what's up? Eduardo, what's up? Twiz, Pumper, what's going on, everybody? Let's get to a couple super chats here, John, to start up this second segment for us. Suo Blaze checks in. Good morning, guys. AJ for a top 10 pick. Future first and Tyler Warren. The Penn State in me wants this. LOL. Now, John, let me show you something though, real quick. All right, before you laugh at our boy Suo.
The troll? Right? You talking about AJ trolling people?
No, I'm not talking about that. I don't know what he was talking. AJ Brown did like a video yesterday. He's talking about. I agree with him, by the way. He's like, don't go to the fairs. You know, they're not putting all the screws.
No, I'm not talking about the bear one. The bear. He is right about the bear one, but
he's definitely right about that one. What was the other one? Was there another one?
He got a Patriots number 11 jersey. For those who don't know,
yeah, I saw that.
AJ's he gets a lot of jerseys. He likes to put them up in his house and autograph. He got a Brady one, so he got an Edelman one yesterday, signed jersey or somewhere. I don't know. It was recently, and he put up the Patriots number 11.
Yeah, he was.
And he's kind of trolling, and then turned it around and was a signed Edelman jersey. So
yeah. No, I don't mind, man. He was a big Patriots fan. He's very open about that when he was younger. He loved the Patriots. He loved Tom Brady. He loved Edelman. That's cool for AJ Brown. But no, this is what I wanted to show you. All right, so I got sent this yesterday. Now, you can love him, you can hate him. Howard Eskin's been around this football team for a long time. Doesn't mean he's always going to be right. All right, and doesn't mean he's always going to be wrong. But this is what he tweeted out yesterday, and he downplayed the dumb trade idea of Devontae Smith, which we all downplayed because it was literally egregiously stupid. But he tweeted, Howard Eskin said, however, I had heard A.J. Brown's name in some trade talks with the Eagles possibly moving into the top 10. Now, I don't know if Howard is trying to just ruffle feathers. I don't know if he actually heard something. What I will say, though, is Howard's been in this business long enough to know, though, that when he puts something out there, I mean, I can't just completely brush it off. Is this even a possibility, John? AJ Brown traded?
At some point, I always say, I don't know why he does the stuff he does. At some point, it might become a self-fulfilling prophecy because of some of the social media stuff that AJ does. And I thought it was funny, the Edelman thing. But, other people probably will think other ways. So I think everybody's been hyper-focused on the Patriots for the reasons you just stated. And he talks about the Patriots a lot, and he likes the Patriots and this and that. And even some of the Boston writers have picked up on it and run with it a little bit. And, you look at where the Patriots are drafted, and they might be in sort of no man's land from the point of, well, they're not going to get Hunter, they're not going to get Carter, most likely, and they're probably going to have to pick between Will Campbell and Armand Membo, and that kind of thing. And you say, well, maybe they want out, but why the freak would the Eagles want in? I get it from our Penn State guy, and he says, he's a Penn State guy. All right, the Eagles are going up to get the best tight end in the draft, and he is the best tight end in the draft at number 5. Does that sound Eaglesy?
No.
I mean, where's the bit here?
Yeah.
And in the case of,
to be fair, Howard did follow it up in the comments and just said, like, look, I'm not telling you they're going to trade A.J. Brown. I'm telling you that every name comes up before the draft. This is what teams do. They talk about a lot of players more than you would like.
Well, that part.
He's right about that.
And that part is. And look, for years, Howard was, embedded with the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's no longer embedded with the Eagles. So remember that. Now, he might still be talking to Dom. I don't know from that standpoint. I can't, Dom better cut that off. But if it is still happening, who knows? But it does. Again, I think people like rumors. They're exciting. People click on them. We were talking about this before.
Yeah, people do, man. And people love it.
They love, but they don't think about, like, all right, why would the Eagles want to do that? Or normally it's more of, why would the other team want to do that? In this case, I think it's more about, why would the Eagles want to do that? Why would the Eagles want to go up, and what is the thought process?
The only thought process I think that makes logical sense is if you map out what the future looks like in terms of contracts on the defense, and you have to crunch that cap eventually, and AJ Brown could become I'm not even getting the future. Then I think it's at least like that logic makes sense. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying that makes sense. He is making $32 million.
Well, the business part of it, I'm not even getting to that. We can get to that. But from the personnel part of it, I guarantee if the Eagles are going up to number 5, it's not going to be in this draft, number 1, because it's just not good enough. And number 2, if they are, it ain't going to be for a tight end. It's going to be for Will Campbell or Armand Membo. Does that excite you? Because that's who they're going up to get. And look, they might, like, Membo's the guy with tremendous upside, and who knows? Jeff Stoutland might go behind the scenes and say, all right, this guy's going to be a Hall of Fame type player. That's who they're going up to get.
Right.
Not a tight end. So that makes it far less sexy for the people to get invested. No, they're not doing that.
No.
And the only way, from the business part of it, the only way they're trading A.J. Brown is if A.J. Brown becomes such a distraction that they feel the need to trade him.
Will A.J. Brown retire as an Eagle?
I would say no. No, he might retire on a one-day contract when he comes back at the end of his career.
Yeah, right. Might have a couple of Super Bowls.
But I assume you mean his playing days. No, I think at some point and it's not even bad stuff, but the social media stuff they will get tired of. That has been my.
It sounds like you have some info that the Eagles are not a fan of when players are on social media doing anything.
No, well, I don't think anybody is. But there's nothing you can do about it.
That's what I mean. I think there has to become a point where you just recognize this is a part of it. I mean, by the way, it's only getting worse. Do you think you're drafting players in this draft, in the NIL world, in the social media world, where you get paid $1 million to make a freaking TikTok? Players are going to get better at it. I mean, A.J. Brown is he's on the older spectrum of guys who are doing this.
I know. And I'm not saying it's you can stop it, but to your point of nobody, do they like it? No, of course they don't like it. Right. But in the case of AJ's a high level, all pro level player, arguably the best pure football player on the team. And when that starts to slide, I always talk about the Jimmy Johnson. I'll treat you all fairly, but I'm not going to treat you all the same. Right now, he's really, really good. This league moves very quickly. Nothing stays in a stasis. Players decline all the time. And when he gets to more of a level where he's not the best talent in the locker room, maybe it speeds up an exit, is what I'm trying to say. You're muted, Zander.
I could see that. Over under 2 more years in Philly. Like, will he make it to the 3rd year from now? I think that's pretty out there.
If he keeps going the way he's going, probably not make it to the 3rd. Well, 4th. I'll go 4th.
The problem is he's still so damn good at football.
I know.
And this team struggles. I mean, it's like a void is out there when he's not on the field. It's almost like they all forget how to play. You know, he's the catalyst to the offense, whether he gets the rock or not.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
That's the tough part about it.
I know. And by the way, he doesn't do anything bad that I know of on social media. Anything.
I don't have any issue with
either do I. Other than
none of it bothers me. I've never even bought the diva. I fight with Cilio about this all the time. I'm like, you have AJ Brown so wrong. I don't see diva at all. Maybe an interesting player, maybe an interesting guy with the, has deep thoughts and all those different things. He's talked about that, but I don't see diva.
Well, yes. Well, you see it. I mean, Aaron Rodgers again yesterday going on McAfee. Like I
meant to ask you about that.
He's a weird cat, man. And by that I mean he just talks and NFL teams don't like that. They don't like that. But does he say anything bad? Real people just don't like him because he's not what they're used to.
Yeah, and I'm like, a different level. Like Aaron brings consistently bad publicity. AJ Brown gets like social media nerds like panties in a bunch. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't really bring bad publicity. Aaron Rodgers has had times where he's brought the whole media contingency on a franchise.
Well, he's a quarterback. He's higher profile too.
That's true. That's true.
From AJ's perspective, he gets plenty of people's panties in a bunch all the time. That's the problem. That's why the Eagles don't like it. Now, should he? Should they have their panties? No, but they do.
Yeah, they do.
It's not. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've never seen the guy do anything that, passing. Oh, I'm going to get really upset about that. One word. You remember when we were talking about it? I sure as hell didn't get upset by it. Did he say anything that's wrong?
Yeah. No, but you not upset by it, but you can recognize the ripple effect it can have.
Oh, I recognize the ripple effect. That's my point.
Yeah,
but those are the morons. No offense, but if you get upset by that, and to the diva people, what does that even mean? Oh, he works harder than everybody else. He never goes out. All he does is train.
No, but John, all right. I don't think.
Does that sound like diva?
No, it doesn't. But you can take the comment of passing, like when you're on a winning streak, and say that's diva-esque. I don't think it is. You don't think it is. I'm in your ballpark, but I can understand somebody that would say that. I don't agree with him, but he does do those things.
But I understand it, and I even expect it. But that doesn't mean it's right. Like to me, if you look up the word diva, and the constantly, I mean, what you think about guys going out and partying, Odell Beckham Jr. on the boat in between the playoff game. That's a diva.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah.
Not the guy who says, "Oh, the Super Bowl wasn't as, gratifying for me because I want to get back to work." That's the exact opposite of a diva.
And the other thing is, I mean, look, we might not have liked the passing comment, but saying you want to improve the 29th ranked passing offense really isn't
not exactly controversial.
Yeah, no.
And the fact that on that very same day, Devontae Smith said the exact same things, but just more wordy.
Yeah, more political, more savvy, more politically savvy by Devontae.
So, I mean, yeah, it's strange because he's the opposite of a diva. But yeah, I get why people say it, because they lump all wide receivers who say anything into the diva category. And some are and some aren't. Look at all the stuff you got to go through over the years with Tyreek Hill. Great player, but you got to go through some shit.
Yeah, AJ Brown's not that, and shouldn't even be close to comp to
No,
that.
not even close. He's
on.
trolling people on social media with a Julian Edelman signed jersey.
He's a
and
better
talking
player.
about
He's a better winner. He's more productive, and he doesn't give you a tenth of the headache that guy gives you.
Yeah.
So no, he can't be.
he
Comped to
probably
that.
and they got that bear going on in South Philadelphia. I was there the other day for Howie. He probably drove by that one day and said, "Oh man, I'm not going on that freaking tilt-a-whirl." They're not putting the
Anybody
bolts
that grew up near me, there used to be a fair called June Fate. And we would be little kids, and we would go to this fair, and they had the spinner and the gravitron.
Yeah.
And what's the thing you just named? The tilt-a-whirl, all those
Tilt-a-whirl.
things, man. And I was a young cat, and I used to be there, man. I'm not going on one of those rides, man. I don't like it. I don't.
I'm surprised because I went on all of them when I was young. I didn't even think about it, but now I'm like, what the hell was I doing?
I know, right? I liked amusement parks, though. I did like roller coasters when I was young.
That was before the movie, the Final Destination movies, where they would. I don't know if you've seen it. You're not a movie guy, but it's a horror movie basically, and where you escape death, but death comes to get you in the end because it's your time.
Doesn't sound like my kind of movie, Johnny Mac.
But they did a bunch of them, and one of them was they were at a fair. And they show you what goes wrong and all the bolts coming out.
Yeah. As AJ alluded to.
I guarantee you, I'm going to ask AJ that when I see him. I guarantee he saw Final Destination.
Yeah,
I'm with him 100%. Stay away from those spare rides.
Yeah, AJ Crowley follows up on the AJ talk, and we're not actually. I had one guy in here. Are you guys effing dumb? Trade AJ Brown? We're not saying to trade AJ Brown. We're talking about the rumors. Come on, man,
dude. If you listen to the show even a little bit,
I know it's funny because he listens every day. My boy, I don't want to call you out too much, dude. Dominique, you're here every day. Dabney, I appreciate. He says we're not trading AJ. Are y'all stupid?
Come on,
we're
dude.
Not stupid. Crowley checked in though, and he said. AJ got asked a question and answered it. What do people want him to do? Lie?
Yes, they do. They want him to be more political.
Exactly.
They want him to lie, basically. Yes, they do. Yes, they want to be validated.
They want him to be more like Sirianni, but Sirianni gets a lot of shit for being like that.
Exactly. They don't want him to, bring up the constructive criticism of their favorite team. Everything's got to be perfect. We just talked about that. Crawley with the Super Bowl. Everybody, they won the Super Bowl, so the passing game is fine, ignoring every issue in the passing game leading up to the Super Bowl. No, they overcame and won the Super Bowl, even though they had some significant issues in the passing game throughout the season. People don't want to hear that. They want to be validated. My team's great. There's nothing wrong with my team. There's no perfect team. And this was a great, great team. But they weren't perfect.
No, they weren't. No doubt about it. Wilfredo checks in. Johnny Mac Cheese, best in the business. Wilfredo, thank you, bro. I agree. Brian Pumper checks in. Zander, not sure why you love Stark so much. He's a coverage safety who's an arm tackler. Cough, cough, Byron and Eric Rowe. We need enforcers at safety. I see it differently than you, Brian Pumper, but I ruled him out early, John, just because I'm like, the Eagles aren't drafting a safety in the first round. It's just not happening. They've never done it. But I don't know, man. I'm wondering that with the setup of the top 30s, like maybe it is a real possibility. I'm not sure.
I think they think he's, again, 32 is a lot different than 10. I agree with. They're not taking a safety at 10. At 32, they'll take anything at 32 if they're forced to take it, and that's the best player. There's a big difference in all of this. But yeah, Pumper doesn't like Malachi Starks. It's not like Xander's the only one pumping up Malachi Starks.
I don't even think I've pumped him up that much.
I'm just looking. PFF's got him as the 9th ranked player in the draft. Brugler's got him in the 16, 17 range. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, he's a good player. Pump. I'm not sure if you watch. I watched SEC every weekend. That kid can play. You might not love him for the Eagles, whatever. You might have your issues with him. 39 straight starts at Georgia, 3 years. This kid can play. He knows.
Well, I always get the group think people. They hear somebody say something and they latch onto it.
Yeah, that's true.
But and it works both ways. I'm That doesn't guarantee that Malachi Starks is going to be a good player. They would say the same thing about Lewis Seen a couple years ago, and he's not a great player, or hasn't been a great player. But, just because George is, on your resume doesn't guarantee anything. But, yeah, Zander's not the only one who likes Malachi Starks. I can tell you that. You're muted.
I don't even think I've hyped up Malachi Starks all that much. I don't know. Pumper pulls shit out of his ass. Pump, I'm still waiting for you to be right about something, my brother. I know you got it in you.
It's got it. It's got to come around sometimes.
It's got it.
Broken clock.
We just got a super chat. I'll get to it in a little bit, but it's at Johnny Mac's going to love that super chat. Going to be one of the best ones for Johnny Mac coming up soon. Suo Blaze checks in again. Suo, thank you for your support. Not taking a tight end 4, but I would go to 7 with the Jets. And take who?
Yeah, who are you getting? Who are you excited
I like
about?
Jalen Walker. Like, I would take a guy like that, but I don't think it's worth that to go up and get that. If I was there, that's who I would take. But I'm not like sending the house to go get there.
No. You know how much you got to give up to get to 7?
A ridiculous amount.
You go up to 7 to go get quarterbacks, not tight ends. And I like Tyler Warren a lot. He's, to me, he's one of the top 4 players in this draft. I've called him the safest pick in the draft.
Yeah.
But even he ain't Brock Bowers. What did Brock go? I have to look him up. Brock Bowers is the best tight end prospect I think I've ever seen, certainly in the recent years, but I'd have to think about it. And he went 13th. He's a first-team All-Pro as a rookie. And he caught 112 passes. And he went 13 because the draft was better. Not because if Brock Bowers was in this draft, he'd be ahead of Tyler Warren.
Yeah, Brock Bowers was crazy good prospect.
And he went 13 because the draft was deeper. Who do you want for this big move up? Other than Abdul Carter, like, I don't want anybody for the Eagles. Literally anybody. So where I'm going to give up what I need to give up to go from 32 to 7?
Yeah, that's going to require a lot.
Unless it's Abdul Carter, I'll listen to that. But anybody else, and for all the Penn State people, they can get why not get on Abdul Carter? Because he's the one who belongs there. But yeah, I don't know who all these people want.
I don't either. I don't even know what Suo is going for, honestly. But Suo, I appreciate you, bro. Tyler Braswell checks in. What's up, Tyler? I've been doing NDT, non-destructive testing, and have tested rides at a park in Oklahoma. I'll pray for you, Tyler. I hope you're all good, man. I wouldn't want to test.
Check those bolts. Don't watch Final Destination. Check.
It's one thing to like be the guy that rides it after the testing is done. It's another thing to like be the guy that tests them. All right, Tyler, we're all putting our hope in you, brother. AJ Brown is.
And by the way, obviously, we don't hear about bear destruction every day, so obviously it doesn't happen that often. I'm just saying, I don't trust these. I don't trust these rides.
Yeah,
it's personal.
Here we go.
Me and AJ. AJ and I are usually on the same page. We're on the same page.
There you go. This is the super chat I think J-Mac will like. Matt Brennan, what's up, my brother? He checks in with $5. J-Mac, am I foolish to still believe in Bryce Huff? I think we wrote him off too soon.
Well, I definitely think the fan base wrote him off too soon. The problem is, and a lot of people think Vic wrote him off, and that might be the case. And if that's, then you got a problem. From Howie's perspective, yeah, I think he would like to reboot him and try to see. And I'm with you. I guarantee he has a better year as long as he stays healthy. Doesn't mean it's got to be better.
But do you think Vic turned on him?
by their actions.
BLG does. You heard BLG
Yeah, I
on
know.
Wednesday.
I know.
Yeah.
By their actions, I could see why BLG would say that, because they have multiple bodies in with Ojulari and Uche. Now, you can cut those guys tomorrow, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. But I would give, certainly the way Howie was talking before they went down to New Orleans, it certainly seemed like he wanted to give him another opportunity. And since then, something has changed, and my thought process would he's got to figure out how to get Big to give him a chance. So I get why people believe the way BLG believes, but I would give him another chance because it's not going to hurt anything. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You're not going to be able to. The only way you're going to be able to trade him is to take on a bunch of dead money and get essentially nothing back. So if he's going to be here for one more year, what's the harm in trying?
Right.
In training camp. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
You won me over a little bit on him, just in terms of I don't think he can get worse. So I think if Vic isn't completely out on him, he could be something. But I'm not going to criticize fans for turning on him. He didn't do a whole lot of anything this year. He didn't look very good when he was out there. He was scratched for the Super Bowl. I know there's more context, John, as you've talked about, but the perception of it is not good. So we will see what Bryce Huff can do. It's interesting. So I was looking, and I'm trying to find it right now. But Bryce Huff, I follow him on social media, and he's been posting out, and he posted out his brother. And I'm fascinated by this because my brother is like this genius. He doesn't talk about sports like I do for a living. He's started an AI nanotechnology and material science company in New York. And Bryce Huff's brother is in the same thing, and they do the business together. So I'm like, I don't know if Bryce Huff has a bunch of other stuff he does. Neighborstone, nanotech, and advanced materials manufacturing. So I was like, I got to try and connect him and my brother, man. Maybe Bryce Huff.
Nice.
So let's see if I can do that. But I thought that was interesting. Matt, appreciate the super chat on Bryce Huff. All right. Brian Pumper checks in again. He says, I was right about Tanner McKee winning a Super Bowl, and I'll be right about my Project 89 propaganda. Tight end one loading. If those are the feathers in your cap, Brian, you got a cheap cap, my man. You got a cheap cap.
Tanner McKee did win a Super Bowl. So did Kenny Pickett.
As the third string quarterback, that's what you're taking. That's the feather in your cap there, Brian. Come on, Pump. Even I think you're better than that, Pump. Sue Blaze says, Warren is the next Gronk. Okay, I'm not going to go that far. That is the greatest tight end in the history of the NFL, in my opinion. So I'm not going to go that far.
Gronk was a second-round pick, so I don't, the
is
Eagles
he your GOAT at tight end, or you got another one?
He'd be up there, certainly. Yeah, he's in the conversation.
There you go. That's that key word, key line for John. If he's in the conversation, it's big.
And he's old school tight end, so he can block. He's a very good player. But I mean, I wouldn't take Gronk in the top 5. I mean, I wouldn't take Brock Bowers in the top 5. Yeah, I'm certainly not going up that high,
right?
To get a tight end. And that's, part of the reason why there's not much. I talked about that. Latest it's never happened since the merger, the NFL AFL merger, that everybody still has their first round pick this late in the process. And Howie downplayed it before coming back and saying it's the fucking quarterbacks. I mean, nobody wants to.
I thought Howie's answer in that was a little odd. He's like, it's because of last year's draft.
Well,
I know what he was saying, people trade future, but
what he was trying to say is usually before the draft, and he did it himself with Carson Wentz, you're maneuvering to get up to get a quarterback. So basically, he wasn't giving me a great answer, and then he figured, because he knows me well enough to give me something. And then he kind of went down the quarterback. So what he was trying to say is, generally, when it happens early, people are maneuvering to get quarterbacks. You might have to make 2 moves, like Howie had to do to get Carson Wentz, had to make a number of moves to go up and get Carson Wentz. nobody's maneuvering because they don't want any of these stinking quarterbacks. With the exception of Cam Ward, who's going number 1, so Tennessee doesn't need to move. Believe me, Cleveland and the Giants would be thrilled if somebody was trying to come up to get Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
Nobody.
You know what I would
wants
be thrilled with? If the Titans said, here's a wrench, and tossed it into the whole draft and took Abdul Carter number 1.
Well,
now we're talking. Now what's Cleveland going to do? What's New York going to do? Now we're talking, baby. That would make the draft a whole lot of fun.
Well, and they probably would take Cam Ward right away, and then it would just settle back into what it is. And, you know, he doesn't belong at number 1. He doesn't. You know, but it's teams are so desperate, and that tells you, because teams are so desperate. At the end of the day, I think 4 guys might go at quarterback in the first round, maybe 5, and 1 deserves it. Like, they can't help themselves. To Cleveland and New York's credit, they seem to be the real, all right, we can't take these guys at 2 or 3. We can't. But they're probably going to go back up to get them in the Pittsburgh's at 21, I think. So they'll have to go above Pittsburgh. They'll go back and take one in the, you know, mid-teens. They don't belong there either. Right. But they'll do it. But 2 or 3, man. Yeah, they and I do give them credit for that. And I don't give the Giants much credit, but they're not taking a quarterback at 3.
Yeah. We'll see what ends up happening. 6 days out from the NFL draft. 6 days and like 11 hours. All right. So we'll see what happens when it kicks off. It'll probably take 2 hours to get the first 10 picks done. And then it will be maybe speed up a little bit, but normally that first round drags on. Boy, John, I'll tell you what, if we're doing a draft show or I'm doing a draft show or whatever, and we get to the end of the first round and it's 31, and then we get a notification, the Philadelphia Eagles have traded out of the first round and we don't get a pick. That'll be a shitty night. Might not mean that doesn't mean they made the wrong decision, but that will be very anticlimactic for Eagles Nation. So we will see what happens. There, a couple more super chats. Vulnerable Vitality. What's up, my man? Thanks for another great week of shows. You got it, brother. Thank you for your support. Looking forward to next week. Hang in there, J-Mac. Only 5 more months until you can have free time again.
I don't think I ever have free time.
Your honeydew list is picking up big time, John.
The only, June, July is the little between mini camp and training camp is the only. And really, I need to go back to work to get some rest at that point, as Zander points out, because then I'm doing too much shit.
Yeah, honeydew.
But, no, never ends.
Vitality, thank you, brother, for the super. Here we go. Sammy Livingston. What's up, Sammy? Hope you're doing well, my guy. Appreciate you being here. He says, I think linebacker is a sneaky need. Need someone to hold down the fort until Dean gets back or add depth if an injury occurs. What are y'all's thoughts? Initially, Sammy, I'd say I agree. Johnny Mack, what say you?
Well, we talked about linebacker. They're going to take a linebacker on day 3, certainly. They need depth.
Really? They haven't brought any in on visits. Weren't in any of our
Kobe King, we mentioned from Penn State as a linebacker. He's a day 3 guy. But yeah, they're confident in the guy. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is going to hold down the fort. And I think Nakobe Dean's going to be back a little bit quicker than people realize. So if it's 2-3 games, I think you're fine. But they believe in Trotter. I'm surprised the fans don't believe in Trotter because of his name, not that I haven't seen him. And he did show a little bit in the time he did get. He's a very instinctive player, should make sense. Grew up around a linebacker. So I think they're very confident that Trotter can take over that Oren Burks' role as the third linebacker and the guy who's got to fill in. So I think they're fine with that, but they still need a fourth linebacker, and they still need really probably only going to keep 4 on the 53, and you have Ben Van Schumann who can sort of toggle back and forth, but he's more of a special teams guy. So they do need depth, but I don't think the need is the bigger thing long term is what are you going to do with Nakobe from a contract standpoint?
Yeah, I think that's a huge, huge question.
It is, because you have to, one, you have to see he's healthy again. B, you have to see still the same player from a physical standpoint. And, C, you have to decide what are we going to pay after you just paid Zach Bond.
And
our
also
old buddy, our old buddy TJ Edwards. Well, I'm saying if you confirm he's healthy, TJ Edwards got another extension with Chicago.
I saw that. Congrats to TJ.
Yeah. He's up to $10 million a year now. So are you going to pay Nakobe $10 million a year? I don't know. Cap keeps going up, but he's got to prove he's healthy and still the same guy.
Yeah. I mean, even if he does that, with 3 straight years, he has ended the season on injured reserve. So, that would be my biggest question on Nakobe Dean. John, do you like Trotter? Like, do you think Trotter is a viable replacement? Not talking about the Eagles. I'm more talking about what you think. If you saw anything from the player, he's a depth guy, so he's not a starter. But do you think he's good enough to replace Oren Burks?
Yeah. I think Oren. There's a lot. Oren was tremendous, and again, there's so many stories, so many stars that align. And when Nakobe went down against Green Bay, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And even before the Super Bowl, I was talking to McManus, Tim McManus, and we were saying, boy, Andy's going to put this guy in a blender, just like he did last
the year
year.
prior.
Yeah. And man, he just had this great run, and he was phenomenal. But there is a long sample size with Oren Burks. He's played for a long time on 3 different teams and 3 pretty good teams. And I think that the run he had in the playoffs was the anomaly. I think the 6 years he had in Green Bay and San Francisco is more of the player he is. And he got a nice little deal as a backup linebacker, 2 years, $5 million. But yeah, I wouldn't overstate. Like, I think Trotter's fine as a linebacker 3. The question is, can he be a starter? That, nobody knows yet. But he
which isn't really a question we have to answer yet either.
Yeah. But he does have good instincts for the position. So I think that's a positive. To me, I don't question him against the run. The issues with him will be in pass coverage to see if he can do that.
Good stuff. Sammy, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man, for the super chat. Sammy followed up, said you guys are the best. Keep it up, fellas. Sammy, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Good super chat there. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll know a lot more. We're going to break down every position group after the draft. It's tough to do right now because there's still a big talent acquisition period to come, both during the draft, after the draft, undrafted free agents, all sorts of different things. So they're going to add a lot of bodies. And I will remind everybody, you do not go to camp with 53 names. You go with 90. So they need a lot of dudes, all right? They need almost 40 dudes that are not going to be on the roster. So think about that. 40 names that we might mention here on the show will not be on the roster. So you got
when we will mention all of them. That's what we do on this show.
Yeah, we do. We mention
the
basically every
guys.
single one of them. So
Howie even said, it's going to be about 8 draft picks. They might have a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how much he maneuvers. And then 20 to 25, probably undrafted guys. So that's probably a little bit high, but there's going to be a lot of names coming in.
All right. Johnny Mac, let's talk a little Dallas Goedert now. All right. We've talked about the lack of bringing in tight ends. All right. There were some rumors floating around there this weekend. I'm not sure whether confirmed or not. Not sure if you were able to do any intel. The Giants were interested in Dallas Goedert. Again, might be a pre-draft rumor. Everybody's interested in everybody at this time of the year. Everybody takes calls. I think that's one thing all GMs do. But Goddard's trade value, where do you think it is? Do you think a move like that is viable? I heard someone throw out yesterday, Goedert and Thibodeau. The Giants want to move on Thibodeau and the Eagles want to move on Goedert. Both teams need one, the other position. Is that an option? I know they're NFC East, so I don't think it's likely, but your thoughts on something like that, and then just the value of Goedert at this point.
Well, Jordan Schultz is getting the game. He wrote yesterday, tweeted, posted, whatever X is now. Dallas Goedert remains a name to watch on the trade market as the draft approaches. Interested teams believe Philadelphia would be open to future picks if they receive 2025 draft capital. Goddard's in the final year of his deal, could be looking for a new contract. No news. No news there. Just repackaged. Schefter's the king of that. He'll do it on Sunday mornings. No new news whatsoever. And to the point, Josina Anderson actually said, yeah, this is not new. It's not new at all.
I saw Josina tweeted that a couple months ago.
This has been. So the Eagles want a 4th round pick. Everybody knows this. Now, are they going to be able to get a 4th round pick? Probably not. Definitely not in 2025. But where the Eagles are open, it might be 2027. They'll get a 4th round pick, but it's going to be a future 4th round pick. The question to me is, when is it going to happen? And from the cap standpoint, it doesn't make sense for the Eagles to do it before June 1st. If they trade them pre-June 1st, which obviously would be the draft, they lose $9.582 million in cap space. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, then what the heck is the point?
If they trade them post-June 1st, they gain $4.3 million. I mean,
that's pretty.
And they're getting a future pick anyway. They're not going to be able to get a pick in this draft anyway. So from my standpoint, the only thing that complicates it is teams are planning and budgeting and doing things for this season, and they're not necessarily. They want to make moves before the draft. They want to get players in, so it's not as easy as it seems on the surface. By the time you get to June, everybody's pretty much cashed out. Their budget is accounted for. And this is still a pretty significant player that wants a new contract, an extension. So it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. That's why he's still here. But and I've said it for a while now, if I'm a betting man, I'm gonna bet on him not being here this season. And we'll see how it shakes out. But as Howie says, he's stubborn. He will wait. He did it with Zach Ertz. He did it with James Bradbury. Sorry, losing my voice. He will kick the can down the road as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to end up happening there. So, good stuff, Johnny Mac. On that, do you think the Giants? I mean, really, do you think they would trade in the division?
No.
I don't know.
Can you imagine the shitty New York Giants upsetting you with 88, getting 2 touchdowns?
Dude, you think I'm worried about the New York Giants? Hey, 88 can get 8 touchdowns against us for all I care. They're going to win 4 games.
It's just not good business to trade in the division.
I know, but I am wondering if the ineptitude of the Giants tilts the scales a little bit, where if you're going to get more value out of New York, do the Eagles just say, well, we're not going to worry about our opponent. Let's worry about us. If we get more value from them,
they've done it in the past with Washington and Donovan McNabb and all that stuff, so you can take advantage of bad organizations. Interestingly, I don't think I'm going to get myself in trouble because I rip the Giants more than anybody else, but it's generally not about Joe Shane. I don't think he's dumb. From a roster building perspective, I think he's got to talk dumb people into things. I pretty much said that pretty consistently.
I don't think he's great at evaluation of players.
That's fine. But I don't think he does. I don't see evidence. I don't see evidence of making dumb decisions as far as trading and assets. I saw a lot of it before he got there.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Evaluation's everything. If you can't evaluate players, you're cooked.
Well, which I don't think they're doing a good job at right now. Like,
well,
at
that's
all.
fine. But
Yeah.
to
I
me,
mean, Daniel Jones, even Thibodeau. I just brought up Thibodeau. I mean, they spent what, the 5 overall pick on him? He's a good player. He's not.
Well, I think, from the perspective, it's, I think a lot of people look at that and say, well, they're going to take Carter. Hey, they might not take Carter because Cleveland might take Carter. But if they do take Carter and they have Brian Burns and they say, well, you don't need 3. Well, I think he would say, well, yeah, you do need 3. And, that's pretty fucking good 3.
Right.
So I think that's more from outside the building than inside the building. And they're not trading to the point. I don't know who brought that up. I haven't seen it. Thibodeau's 24 years old. Dallas is 30. He's not dumb.
Yeah, but if they don't see a future with him, you could argue they're going to get more out of him now than they would next year if they're not going to pick up the option.
Well, they're not ready to win. I think we all know that. I think Joe
definitely
knows
not
that.
ready to win. Yeah.
And
so how old is Goedert going to be when they're ready to win? 39, 48.
Yeah, and that part of it is, but people can make, as I said, people can make fun of Joe Schoen all they want, and maybe you're right in the fact that they don't evaluate players correctly. But I have not seen evidence that he makes a bunch of dumb decisions from an asset standpoint. In fact, I've seen the opposite. He's course corrected them.
All right.
So I don't agree with those people, and we'll see. I mean, Thibodeau is in the Jordan Davis draft, so are they going to pick up his option? We're going to see that as well. But in the short term, I mean, that'd be if they get Abdul Carter, that's the strength of their team. Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. That's pretty big strength in the short term.
He went 5 overall. Jordan Davis went 13 overall. Kyle Hamilton, Kenyon Green, 15 overall. It's funny, he's now an Eagle. Jahan Dotson, 16 over. So we have the 13th, the 15th, and the 16th pick of the 2022 NFL draft.
Well, and the Eagles, that now becomes theirs. So the Eagles have to decline the option on Kenyon Green, which they will, and decline the option on Jahan Dotson, which they will. Because it's now theirs. And then they have a tougher decision to make with Jordan Davis. And ultimately, I think they'll pick it up on Jordan Davis, but we shall see. I don't know. I'm not there with the Giants, but I would think Thibodeau has played well enough to where they would pick up that option.
All right, so this is crazy. Ready? So now we traded Kenny Pickett, but the 2022 NFL draft, not that long ago, everybody. It's 2 drafts ago, 3 drafts ago, okay? These are your Philadelphia Eagles from this. Jordan Davis, 13. Kenyon Green, 15. Jahan Dotson, 16. Kenny Pickett was 20. He was an Eagle not too long ago. And 32 overall, Lewis Steen. I mean, 5 of those guys. That's how fast the NFL changes it, John. If I told you 5 of the first-round picks that go this year will make the Eagles roster or be a part of the Eagles roster at some point in the next 3 years, you'd be like, "What? That's insane." That's how
it's not a good sign.
No, it's not a good thing at all.
Yeah. Now, I think Dotson can play a little bit, but they're obviously not going to pick up his option. Kenyon Green, they're obviously not picking up. He's been a disaster in Houston. Lewis Steen was a disaster in Minnesota. And Kenny Pickett, they already moved on. So, yeah. But the Eagles do that. I mean, the Eagles, second rounders and third rounders too. The Eagles constantly pick up those types of, they say, all right, we liked him in the draft process. Let's see if they have anything. And they have confidence, to their credit. They have confidence that they're going to develop players better. So that's where they are with Kenyon Green. I would say more than Lewis Seen. But, you know, they're like, well, let's see what Stoutland can do with him. And maybe it hits. You never know. But they're not picking up his option. I guarantee you that.
No, I don't think so either. We'll see what happens there. Johnny Mac, last question here, and then we'll turn the page in the last 12 minutes of the show. I see a super chat. Matt Brennan says, we need some final WrestleMania predictions, J-Mac. So we'll get to that in a second. I will do that for you, though, Matt. Any other final thoughts here, John, on this draft? The last thing I would say is, like, if they drafted a guy like a Malachi Starks, if they did do it, how would that shake up the defense? Like, he's a guy who played some slot at Georgia. I'm not saying they would draft him to be a slot, but do you think they would use some of his versatility? Do you think that would open up their ideas and their thought process on a guy like Cooper DeJean? I know obviously it would be bad news for Sidney Brown, but what do you think that would change on the defense? Like, a couple of these picks are like, I think they would have some ripple effects. Like you talked about, Tyleik Williams, if they draft him, tells you what they're going to do on Jordan Davis. I think Malachi has that ripple effect as well. How do you see that?
No, I don't see any strong evidence that Vic is going to change his scheme dramatically for players. I think it's about injuries, and if I need to do this, I can do this. I think he likes versatility in that standpoint. Right. From a coverage standpoint, if he's going to play safeties, replacing CJ, he's going to be in CJ's role. It's going to be the same role, but maybe he has the versatility if Cooper sprains his ankle to do some things in a different week. But the actual position part of it, quarters coverage, cover two's cover two. If you're doing cover 8, half of the field's one, half of the field's the other. Doesn't change. And that's sort of how Vic runs the scheme. The levels of how good it is or how good it isn't, it generally depends on the communication of the players. And the evaluation, obviously getting them ready from a talent standpoint, getting them right from a talent standpoint. But no, I don't think you're going to see dramatic shifts in Vic's scheme, especially coming off last year.
No, I don't think scheme. I was more talking like player shuffling. Like does your view on Cooper in the slot change? If you draft.
I see what you're saying. Parrish. Yeah, with what? Yeah, more like that. I mean, with Cooper, look, if you, how far can you push it? Like we just said. I mean, Houston shined a glaring light over this offseason. They made Derek Stingley the highest paid outside cornerback in NFL history. Derek Stingley. If I said Darryl, I apologize. And they made Jalen Petrie the highest paid nickel corner because he's their nickelback, even though he's listed as a safety.
Right.
In NFL history, which lasted about 2 days until Chicago made Kyler Gordon the highest paid slot corner in NFL history. And the difference is $90 million to $40 million. And that is a pretty fucking big difference.
That is a massive difference. Massive.
And that is the difference between succeeding at outside corner and succeeding at slot corner. So by all means, if they can convince Cooper DeJean to stay in the slot, I don't even hesitate to say the Eagles will make him will set the market and make him the highest paid slot corner. But again, that's $50 million below the highest paid outside corner, which is the realm Quinyon Mitchell's going to be in. This is the business of football that makes things way more difficult than I think the average fan realizes.
Right.
So you say, well, just keep him in the slot. It's not that easy.
How does the team balance that? Like, because an agent can call, but at the end of the day, Vic doesn't, I mean, he probably doesn't feel like he has to do anything.
Well, yeah, Vic's probably that way, but and that's
But I mean,
why
even Howie, like, what does Howie say? Well, my defensive coordinator wants him in the slot. And his agent's calling like, yo, I need him. I need him on the outside.
At the end of the day, you as a second round pick, they have him for 4 years. At the end of the day, that's his leverage.
Exactly.
You can get away with it if you want to play that hardball. But generally, that's not the Eagles want. Again, they want happy employees. That's a thing, man. Like you don't want a bunch of guys who don't want to be there because they think you're utilizing them incorrectly. And by the way, I don't think that's Cooper DeJean at all. That's part of the luxury the Eagles have. I think he would be a good soldier the whole way and play out the 4 years. But I guarantee the 5th year he won't be here. If somebody comes in and says, I'm going to pay you like an outside corner, he's not going to be here. That's where the leverage comes in. Now, a lot of people say he can't play outside corner. No. Well, the Eagles think he can play outside corner because that's
John
how they
McMullen
scouted
think he can play outside corner?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to the scouts about him. I mean, that's how they scouted him. That's why they drafted him.
That dude can play outside corner. Stop. Nobody is telling me otherwise. Until I see him fail and fall on his face, there's no way I don't think that guy can play outside corner.
Well, again, because he's rare. But
he's not just rare athletically. His instinct, he is coordinated. He is everything you need to be a great outside corner.
Do you realize because of the society we have and because because he doesn't have the proper melatonin in his skin that people don't think he's a good athlete?
Yeah.
And how long have I been preaching? This is one of the best athletes to come along in the last 25 years. So that's
pretty stupid, and I think our audience is smarter than that. I really do.
So you got a whole bunch of people who think he can't play the position athletically, and I'm telling them, and I've told them from day one, you're wrong. He is a phenomenal athlete. He is a better athlete than Quinyon Mitchell, just from a measurable standpoint from the combine. He's a better athlete than most outside cornerbacks in the NFL. Go on YouTube, look up his basketball highlights, and you'll figure out pretty quickly. But yes, he can play outside corner, and that's what the Eagles are dealing with. And Beck, for all the questions, he was at the Phillies game. He's a big Phillies fan. John Clark interviewed him, and he said he'd like to keep him. I think people miss that. He'd like to keep him in the slot.
Right.
Beck's a very savvy guy. He's been a head coach. He understands the business of football as well.
Yeah.
In the short term this year, I think they can get away with it. But to your point, Zander, if Jacob Parrish comes in, say somebody of that nature, and looks like a good slot cornerback, and Kaylee Ringo's struggling, yeah, why not make the move?
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%. 100%. I actually agree with Greg Miller, who says, I believe Coop can play all 5 defensive back positions. I agree. I think he could be a great safety. I think he'd be a great slot corner as he was. I think he'd be a good outside corner. I think he's that good of a player, Quinyon or Cooper DeJean. So good stuff there, Johnny Mac. John, I do want to let me get your final thoughts on the Eagles as we wrap up this week, because I do want to give you a chance, John, to hit on this super chat. And I'm going to say the floor is yours, John. Any wrestling talk you got on your mind that you want to vent out there before WrestleMania, we will do it here on the show. But I want to bring closure to the Eagles talk. So your final thoughts is that as we're 6 days away from the start of the NFL draft.
Yeah, I can't get here soon enough is my final thought about the NFL draft. But we're past the hype for the most part, but you'll see these goopy trade rumors pop up here and there. And there will be some trades, and Howie will move up and down the board. I don't think you're going to see splash. I think, the best, I think you're looking for a DeAndre Swift type trade is how I would describe it. Maybe that level of player,
right?
Which is still pretty splashy. That was pretty splashy at its time. Something like that I could see. But no, I don't think you're going up in the top 10 of all drafts. The Eagles aren't making that move in this draft. It's just not good. Not good at the top.
I agree. All right. So for everybody who is Eagles only in our chat, feel free to exit the show. I don't want to hear comment. I don't want to comment. Oh, get back. No, shut up. We've given you 9 hours and 55 minutes of Eagles talk. It's ending right now for the week. I'm telling you this. So if you don't like the other talk, go ahead and move on. Matt Brennan checks in. He says, we need some final WrestleMania predictions. J-Mac, the floor is yours. As long as you want to go. If you want to go through 10, I don't care. WrestleMania is this weekend.
For those who don't know, it's in Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. There are now 2 nights. So you have Saturday night and Sunday night. I don't think we'll go down the whole card, but the main event Saturday is going to be a triple threat match. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. The interesting part of it is Paul Heyman and who he's going to align with. Ultimately, I think a lot of it has to do with who wins Sunday night, which is the actual bigger main event, which is Cody Rhodes against John Cena. So I'm going to go backwards. And that's what wrestling bookers do. I'm going to book backwards. I do think Cena is going to win, short-term champion before he retires. And if that's the case, then I think CM Punk's going to win on Saturday night, because then you put together a big-time box office match.
Right.
With John Cena and CM Punk. So that's my thought process there. Plus, we need a break from Cody, but I'm not a good person. I've needed a break from Cody for.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while.
Yeah.
What do you make of the Roman Reigns comments? I didn't listen to the interview or read it or anything, but I did see something floating out that he wanted to go to a new line of work or a less physically taxing line of work. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean,
every him, you know.
Well, in recent, obviously, Brock, Dwayne Johnson, John Cena, even Dave Bautista have all become huge Hollywood stars after being wrestlers. And everybody's kind of pegged Roman Reigns as that next guy. So that's what he's talking about. And, if you can make $20 million in movies and not beat your body up, it kind of makes sense. So that's the reason.
No, I just didn't know if it would change like Triple H's plans. I'm like,
no,
maybe you wanted him to win or get back
sure.
to the top. Maybe now you don't want him to get back to the top because he's going to leave in a couple of years.
Well, not in the short term. He's shifting into a part-timer, and he's been a part-timer for a while. He's already been a part-timer for a while. And, he's not going to be a full-time guy, but he'll be back for WrestleMania, and he'll probably do it for 3-4 more years. And there's no guarantee, because Cena was able to do it, and to a higher degree, Rock was able to do it, and even Bautista was able to do it. There's no guarantee he's going to be successful in Hollywood, but people think he will be, so that's what that's about.
Right.
I don't think it changes anything from the booking right now. I do think Jey Uso is going to win the other championship over Gunther. That depresses me because I love Gunther. That's about the moment. I don't know if you've seen Jey Uso's entrance, but you should watch it on Saturday. And they're probably going to open the card. And they look for moments, and that's going to be a big moment where you're going to have a bold NFL stadium doing the goopy. Anyway, just watch it. If you're a wrestling fan, it's going to be quite the moment. So I think he's going to win. One of the most interesting, because they brought real life into it, Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair for the women's championship. Charlotte Flair kind of buried Tiffany Stratton on air because she's young and not as used to it. And Tiffany kind of responded by talking about her divorces, and it's gotten ugly and personal. So that always interests people. I think Charlotte will ultimately win. And What else?
I'm not surprised, John. The women got all personal with each other.
Yeah. The other women's championship is a 3-way. You can make the easy joke there. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. I think Io's going to win that, which would be the upset. And I think she'll win that. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre is a big match as well. I think Drew McIntyre will win that. So there's basically, don't want to go down every match, but those are the bigger matches. Oh, we got you muted again.
Is this going to be a good WrestleMania, do you think, or what?
Well, I think they're all good, but I most of the weirdos online who get hypercritical are not happy with the build. I think more of the build has, because Cena doesn't have a lot of time, so he can't be there every week because he's got a lot of Hollywood commitments. Same thing with Rocky, Dwayne Johnson. So they're not there every week. So, but they want to see them. You got these weird online people, it's the same thing happens in the NFL. You got these weird online people and they're upset about everything and they're putting everything through the ringer. But if Cena wasn't there, if Rock wasn't, they'd be upset about it. Well, they can't be there every week. They can't.
You can't please everybody. That doesn't matter what you're talking about. That's the truth.
Yeah. So anyway, So the nerds are, and Triple H did an interview where he's ripping the nerds. He's like, just settle down.
I saw that. I knew you'd like that interview.
Be a fan. Don't worry about it. And I think everybody will be happy at the end of the day. Because it's a spectacle. And you, as you always point out, are interested in stuff like that. You should watch at least part just to see the production.
Oh, I'll definitely watch some of it. The problem for me this weekend is my family plans this weekend are crazy.
Yeah.
Tim M says bad to book on Easter weekend. Well, I'll tell you, you're losing one viewer. It doesn't mean you're going to lose a lot, but I'm going to be watching the highlights on YouTube is what I'm going to be watching.
I've explained this on the show before.
Yeah, it's
Las Vegas wanted this specific weekend because it is Easter weekend, and typically it's not a big weekend in Sin City because people aren't traveling on Easter weekend. So they wanted a destination event, and they paid $5 million for a site fee and gave them access to the convention center for free and T-Mobile Arena for free.
They made it
to specifically do it on this weekend. I agree from the standpoint of I would have kept it away from Easter weekend, but when somebody offers you that deal, you don't turn it down. So basically, that's the business. We always talk about the business part of football. It might not be interesting, but that's the business part of it. That is the highest site fee they've ever gotten.
Yeah.
And if somebody
we'll see if it pans out, though. I mean, if you lose too many viewers, at what point does it become not worth it? I don't know. Maybe I'm way off base. Maybe it doesn't matter at all because the money's all guaranteed. So might not matter. Our boy Mad Bird, one of our best viewers, John, is going to WrestleMania. All right, he is going.
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of people around our area got to see it last year.
Yeah, if I had known, if I was like doing this show and we were talking, because I'm not like huge in wrestling, but I am fascinated by production. I totally would have went to that last year just to see the spectacle because I like as you mentioned, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people it took over the city. They had they have a band convention was down Center City at the convention center. SmackDown was at Wells Fargo Center. Raw was at Wells Fargo Center. They have the NXT sort of developmental brand has their biggest card of the year was at the Wells Fargo Center. This year, it's all at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So it takes over the whole city. And yeah, it's become one of the biggest. It's not sports, but it's sort of Super Bowl-ish, Final Four-ish, that type of thing when it comes to the city.
Good stuff. Johnny Mac, great stuff, brother. Great week of shows this week. Appreciate you doing it. Any final thoughts for the people? Could be wrestling, could be basketball, could be anything on your mind as we close up this Friday edition of the show.
We got one more from Pump, so I got it because he gave us $5. Yeah, he gave us $5.
I predict J-Max Vikings trade number 24 to the Eagles.
Yeah.
We take Gray Zabel. I wouldn't be mad at Gray Zabel.
The Pump has figured out the Vikings only have 4 picks. I like Ray Zabel as a player. I think he can play 5 days. He can play all 5 positions. So tremendous versatility. I don't think the Eagles are going up that high. I do think the Vikings want to move out because they only have 4 picks. So it's a natural fit from that standpoint. But I don't think the Eagles are going up that high.
I don't either. Brian, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. All right, J-Mac, your final thoughts before I let you run, brother. Get the heck out of here, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Big weekend for you to enjoy.
I'm off, and I'm gearing up for WrestleMania. Then I'll get back into the NFL draft. I'll be back in draft mode on Monday, although I have to do a bunch of draft. It never ends. I got to do a bunch of draft.
No doubt. Mad Bird, enjoy it, brother. He's going, so enjoy. Have a good time over there. Be safe, Mad Bird. But Johnny Mac, great show, brother. We will catch you Monday on Birds 365. Enjoy your Easter weekend. Enjoy WrestleMania. Enjoy whatever it is that the weekend brings you. Johnny Mac, we'll talk to you Monday.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. There's Johnny Mac. John McMullen, the #1 Eagles beat reporter in town. Give him a follow at JF McMullen. We appreciate him and appreciate the great week of shows. Appreciate all the viewers today, this week, all off season long so far. You guys have been excellent. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I have not been following along with the WrestleMania stuff at all. I know it's a controversial thing. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I'm not a dude that decides what people can like and don't like. I don't care what you like. I really don't. For people that like wrestling, that's dope. I'll talk about it if you guys want me to talk about it a little bit. If you don't like it, that's fine too. Here we go. Abe says, Zander, did you catch the Milton interview? I did not. Where did he interview? I didn't see it. Man. I didn't see it. So, James M., that's what I'm doing as well. James M. says, I'm taking this weekend to celebrate the resurrection of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Absolutely, James M. Big week for us Christians, and obviously the most important week in our faith. I kicked it off yesterday with a great mass on Holy Thursday. I don't know, not to go too long on the religion stuff with you guys, but Holy Thursday has always been one of my favorite masses of the year. I just feel like it's reverend, the first day of the Triduum. It's great mass. So I enjoyed that last night, which was a great thing to do. All right, a couple things on Zander time today. I will do a couple giveaways. All right, we will do some giveaways. All right, so I have all the giveaways in the chamber. My boy Joe Whip, I saw you in the chat earlier. I will email you, get you worked out, get you sent over your shirt that you won yesterday. I did opt to give Joe Whip the shirt. I knew he was golfing. I saw his comment earlier in the show. And Joe's earned the right, all right, to secure the W. There he is. There's my boy Joe Whip. So, Joe, I'll email you. I saw your email come over at when I was on Cilio's show. So, appreciate that. We will do some giveaways today. I think we've prepped for this draft pretty well. I thought the exercise we did at the Open today, if you missed it, was excellent, where we ranked, we took the top 30 visits and we put them in tiers of these are the guys who are options in round 1. These are the options in round 2. These are the options in round 3. So we kind of broke it down so that you have an understanding of what names to look for where. In other words, you're not going to be looking for Kobe King in round 2, right? He's a later pick. All right. So we broke that down. So if you missed that, definitely go back and check out that segment. I will post it up on the JAKIB YouTube channel as well. Had a lot of super chats today, by the way. So thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate that. M. Ray says Chris Longpie. Is that where Milton was? All right. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Is it worth my time? I mean, just let me know, because I got a lot of stuff pulling me in a lot of directions right now. All right. So every video, every podcast, everything I watch or listen to has to meet a threshold of worth my time. All right. Worth my time. Yeah, I'm doing my mock draft Monday. I already started at KCA, but I didn't finish it. I was going to do it today. I'm pushing it to Monday. So I'm going to Monday. I don't know if Sills is doing one. I think Sills will do one. Sills normally does one. And Johnny Mac does one mock draft, normally the Wednesday before the draft. So he'll do one next week as well. All right. So Maybe I'll do Monday, maybe Sills Tuesday, maybe John Wednesday, because I know John won't do his till Wednesday. So I'll put mine out on Monday, though, for sure. I'm going to do a whole first-round mock, and then I'm going to do an Eagles-only all 7-round mock draft as well. So, and I'll probably do no trades just because what do you want me to do? Oh, the Eagles trade here. Like, what? You want me to lie to you, or do you want me to just give you who I think they might pick based on where they are right now? That's what I'll do. So I appreciate that. What's up, my guy? For Reals. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. For Real says, Big Z, been super busy, but try to tune in as much as possible. Hope all is well. Happy Easter to you and your family. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there. I know you see your sign. All right. Looks great on the wall still. I get comments on it every time people come into the studio. So thank you so much, man. I absolutely love it, and I do owe you. All right, brother. So I appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. Worth viewing. Abe says it's worth it. All right. Abe says it's worth it. All right, Abe. I'll check it out, man. I'll check it out. I will check it out for sure. What did they talk about? Milton Williams and Chris Long, just his time in Philly or what? His new contract. He's, obviously got a big bag of money. Congratulations to him. Rich, what's up, Rich? How you doing? Hall of Fame tonight. Is that the Hall of Fame, I guess, for the WWE, I assume? Vic, Clint, the Super Bowl Carter. Nice. I'll definitely listen to that. There's a lot of Eagles topics in there for sure. I'll do it. Milton's a chill dude. You know who I love, Mank Bird Gang? I love Milton's dad. Did you guys ever see the videos that were floating around of Milton's family? When he was having success and they were all cheering him on and cheering the Eagles on. I thought that was really cool. It certainly seems like he comes from a good family, man. Dad and his mom both riding hard for him in his corner, as they should be. So that's great stuff there. All right, let's do these giveaways, everybody. Let's do some giveaways. The chat's a little dead right now. That's certainly okay. It's a Good Friday in Lent. Holy Weekend coming up. We're in the middle of Holy Week. WrestleMania, Passover, everything is going on. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I understand why everybody's not as hype, which means your chances at the giveaway are good. Okay. They're good. So let me pull up the list of names. All right. Let me do that. Let me refresh, make sure I got everybody new. We got no new members today. That's all right. I'll pull the list of names. A couple of our most common people, man, are out. That's how you know. That's how you know that the chat's dead. Where's my boy Brandon Howard? He's been here every day. Where's my boy Curtis? All these guys, man, everybody's busy today. That's all right. We'll get them back. We'll get them back on Monday. All right, we'll get them back. Oh, so I'm in the midst of Wild Bear. What's up? Jason 18. What's up, my boy? Yo, there he is. There he is. See, B How's always listening. B How, I name dropped you and you appeared. Love the green, Z. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. I almost went with this one too, because I've been liking the whole Kango catalog a lot more, man. So I almost went with the regular with the green forward too. The green forward looks great too. I love these baseball hat Kangos. They're like the best material hat I've ever worn. I'm not even just saying that because I'm a Kango guy. I mean, these things are fire. So I love this. Watching my Pirates sort of suck again this season. Yeah, I mean, you got that pitcher though. I love that dude, man. That dude's a beast. Paul Skeens. Only a matter of time until he's a Yankee. Sorry, Wild Bear. It's just the truth. You'll learn. You'll learn. All right. You will learn in baseball, especially when you're a Pirates fan. It's only a matter of time until he's a Yankee or he's a Met or he's a Dodger. All right. Pick one of them. Yankee, Met, or Dodger. Paul Skeens will be that soon. Okay. Paul Skeens will be that soon. Is that lightweight? It's the Ventair. It's pretty lightweight. I mean, I don't know what you define as lightweight, but I'm going to be rocking it in the summer. I'm going to go with the other one there today. I like the regular backwards Kango today. I'll rock with that. What's up, Park? Hope you're doing well, man. Wild Bear says, let me live in my world where Bob takes his head out of his ass and we keep Skeens. It's not happening. All right. But you got him for a couple more years. Strider is him. I'm not a Strider guy. All right. I'm not a Strider guy. I mean, he's good, but he's not my favorite. He's not my favorite. The Turf Kango. Yeah, Turf is a great color. I got 3 Turfs. I got this Turf. I got this turf, and I got this turf. I got 3 turfs because it's like Kelly Green. So I just like I copped it, you know. I copped it. I actually like these back. I see Eduardo saying I always got to keep it backwards. I always do rock them backwards. The baseball hat, I kind of like backwards as well, honestly. Hugs my head a little bit more, but Aaron Nola is him. Aaron Nola is not him. Aaron Nola is not him. But Christopher Sanchez is looking real good. Jesus Luzardo, I like him too. You know, Zach Wheeler hasn't had his best stuff to start the year, but he'll get it. I mean, come on. Wheeler's a beast. So I'm not too worried about Nola. I'm more worried about the bullpen. Starting pitching is not the Phillies' biggest problem right now. At least I don't think it is. Jason Sparks checks in. What's up, Jason? During the pre-draft press conference, Howie said due to podcasting, we were all welcome to the new 2025 Howie Roseman. Thoughts? Yeah, I don't really think he thought of it. I don't think he was mentioning it like that. I think he more was talking about like the way his comments were taken about Mike Green, but I don't think it changes anything. Brian says, pick a team, Zander, Yankees or Phillies. All right, Pump. Here's the thing. I will happily root for both teams because one's an AL team and one's an NL team. I'm a Yankee fan because of my father and my brother. My father mainly. My father grew up a Yankee fan, loved the Yankees. When he grew up in the projects. He had one channel. It was the Yankees and it was the Rangers hockey team. So that's what he did. He dialed up his little radio and he listened to the Yankees every night. Obviously, a young kid, loved sports and had no way to watch them or consume them like, you know, other people did. So he became a Yankee fan. When I was young, you know, that kind of stuff resonates with you when you're a kid, obviously. You know, you want to be like your pops. So that's why I like it. And that's why I like it. But no, look, I'm a Philly guy, man. I absolutely love this city. So as much as I even hate the Flyers, it wouldn't bother me if they won because I love the city and I want the city to get wins. So Pump, don't pull this shit on me. I know where you live, Pump. All right. You're a lot faker than I am. All right, Pumper. I got a real tie to the reason I like the Yankees. All right. But I like the Phillies, man. I watched every Phillies game this year. We're now covering them a little bit, Pumper. We're doing videos after every game. So I've watched every game this year. When you love Philly, when you watch the team every day, I mean, I don't know. You tell me. My brother is a Cowboys fan. How the hell that happened? Did he grow up here? I moved, buddy. Pump, you didn't do shit. Pump, you didn't do shit. Don't lie to me. You can't lie to me, Pump. You can't lie to me, Pump. All right? You ain't getting one by on me. You might be able to get one by on everybody else. You're not getting by on me. All right, let's do these giveaways. The first thing I'm going to do is the legend giveaways. All right? So let me sort. Current level. Boom. Here we go. All right, let me pull the legends. The legends. I got 2 legend winners today. If Bob Brown wins, I'll be putting on my bucket hat. By the way, I wanted to rip Bob Brown. Bob, are you here? I want to rip you for something, Bob. I didn't like the way I was re-listening because I always have the JAKIB shows on, like sometimes on the TVs. And Zander Time was playing on the TV, and I'm listening, and Bob was chirping me about my bucket hat. I'm like, why did Bob take a shot at homeless people like that? That pissed me off. Sorry, Bob. I love you, but that pissed me off. I don't like taking shots at homeless people. They're people too, bro. They're people too. There's no reason to take shots at people like that. All right, here we go. Random name. Let's do this. Legend winners. All right, here we go. Don't want that. Let's pull this up. All right, here we go. Let me put the legend names. You got 49 legend members. Sue Chick, thank you. Jason, Jesse G, Chad Whitaker, Clary Voy, Mad Bird, what's up, my boy? Seth Shifley, there's Bob Brown. Mike Berghorst, Matt NG. Thanks, everybody who is a legend. All right. And you don't have to be present if you're a legend. You're paying $25 a month to support this channel. That goes further than you know, and it's appreciated more than you know. So you absolutely do not have to be present to win. I'll reach out to you Most of the legends I'm connected with, like either on Twitter or Instagram or somewhere where I can reach out to them. So I can do that. If you win today, we'll have 2 legend winners today. And Josh B, don't worry, I didn't forget about you. If you're listening, I know I got some stuff I got to send you. All right, I'm just trying to figure out the sizing. Not figure it out. I'm basically waiting until my guy gets more jerseys in. All right, so we'll do that. Here we go. 2 legend winners today. 2 legend winners today. Confirm. 1 shuffle. Start. Come on. Remember, you don't have to be present. So these are going to go quick. The 2 legends. 4, 3, 2, 1. Josh B again. Josh B again. Let me text Josh B because I owe him a jersey. So, but he's a medium jersey. I had only XL and double XL. So I never sent him it. I do owe him it, and I will send him it. But now he won. He won a hat and a shirt. All right, so I'll reach out to Josh B. Josh B has been selected again. Where is my boy Josh? There he is. There he is. Let me send him a. I don't know if Josh B's here. Another W. All right, Josh B. Send him that. All right, Josh B with the win. Congrats to Josh B. That's legend 1 of 2 for the day. Legend 1 of 2 for the day. All right. Buddy has all the luck. Big win, Josh. Good stuff. Josh got the luck. All right, here we go. 1 more legend winner today. 1 shuffle for Jalen Hurts. Start. Come on. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lucius the show. Lucius has been waiting for a win for a minute. All right, so a big win for Lucius the show. My boy Lucius. You guys all know, if you watch JAKIB a lot, you've seen Lucius. He's been on the show. He's been on Zander Time. He's been on the post game show. He was on when we did the roast of Cilio. So Lucius is a well-known member of the JAKIB Nation community, the great JAKIB Nation community, and we appreciate him. Rich, what are you hitting on me, dog? He says, wish he would text me. What do you want, bro? What do you want, Rich? Yo, Rich, I got some news for you. I got some news for you, Rich. I got some news for you, Rich. I had an offer that was too good, Rich, on something, and I took it. I took the offer. I took the offer. It was not on a pair of bricks. So it was not on a pair of bricks, but it was on a pair of 4s. So I took the offer. I'll see if you can guess on which pair. A recent pair. I'll see if you can guess on which pair. I'm working on gym gear. I'm working on some merch stuff. The other thing I'm doing is tank tops. I know I had some people who say, yo, can you make JAKIB tanks? So they have good tank tops on the site where I get my gear. And I am going to make some JAKIB tanks. Mad Bird, you nailed it, bro. You nailed it. So I had a pair of Yeezys that I never wore. Like I literally wore them one time, maybe. Yeezy, they were like 350 Yaki L's or something. They're really not my favorite shoe at all. They were a gift to me like 4 or 5 years back. And I brought them into one of those like sneaker shops, and I brought those, and I brought another pair of old Jordan 1s that I just never wore a lot, and I packaged them up, and the guy's like, I'll do an even trade. I don't have the 11s yet. They're on the way in. So he was getting the 11s in, or the size 11, 11 and a half. So I'm picking those up, the navies. I really like those, man. Those are fire. So they're more, they're just easy to wear, the white with the blue. So I'm excited about them. All right, here we go. So let me write down my winners. Josh B. All right, legend winner. And Lucius the show. All right, 2 great winners today. 2 great winners. I'm very excited about Lucius because he's been waiting. All right, he's been waiting. JAKIB Gym Gear, we got to get that. I will let you know, Mad Bird. I will let you know. I will let you know. Greg Tucker, what's up, my brother? Hope you're doing well. All right, now we got 2 winners left. All right, regular winners. So let me get rid of the legend names. All right, goodbye, legends. Z, do a shoe giveaway. Rico, sorry, bro. I can't do that. I can't do that. Rich, you didn't win shit, but I wanted you to answer me, and you didn't. You effer. You mother effer. All right. Edit. Undo sort. All right, here we go. What do we have? 366 members? Pretty good. That is something I can live with. All right, here we go. James M., I'll name check for you. I'll name check for you. Bricks, no. Rich, where did you go? Did you not hear me? Did you not hear me? Oh, you're driving. No, it wasn't Bricks, bro. Not the Paris fours either. No. I made a move on something, though, Rich. I made a move on something, and it didn't cost me $1 out of pocket. All right, it didn't cost me $1 out of pocket today. All right, 366 members. Who wants me to name check James M? Boom. There he is. Joe Whip says, Kango giveaway if Zander can bear to part with one. I can bear to part with one, Joe. I'm not. It's all materials, brother. The shoes, the hats. It's all bullshit. All right. It's all bullshit. It's all material items. It's all material items. I don't lose sight of that. I might like it. I do like the stuff, but I can't lose. All right. I can't have that. Professor Fiddlesworth, look at this. He says Xander's Sills is, oh, yeah, I thought you were saying I'm falling into Skip Bayless territory. I'm like, what the fuck I said? Sills is falling into Skip Bayless territory with all the takes he's had lately. Truly unfortunate. I don't agree. All right. Can someone help out Rich? Not the Paris fours, Rich. I'm waiting for you to get in here, and I'll tell you which ones. I did say it on the show, though. All right, here we go. Let's go. You got to be present for this winner, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. Confirm. 1 shuffle. You must be present to win, and you will win a Super Bowl Eagles shirt in your size. Start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kerry Hayes. Is Kerry Hayes out there? I might put a limit and pick 2 people in the chat today. I do not want to be pulling names for the next hour. All right. Let's go Cowboys. I will use the jersey to wipe my ass. You ain't winning shit, Hugh, because you're not a member here. All right. So get the F out of here. And the Cowboys stink. The Cowboys it's not even fun to mess with you guys anymore, Hugh. Your team stinks. Can you guys come back to relevance a little bit? Team absolutely blows. Your team absolutely stinks. Kerry Hayes, are you out there? That's unfortunate if she's not, because I always like when the girls win. You know, Kirsten, I'm waiting for you to win, Kirsten. I'm waiting for Kirsten to win. Eagles fan are trash. Okay, Q. Go cry. Go cry somewhere else. Yankees are the Cowboys in baseball. I don't know about that, Wilfredo. They got like 27 rings, bro. I don't know about that. All right. I don't know about that. They also won in 2009, so they're not, it's not that long. Not that long. It's long. It's not that long. It's not Cowboy long. That's 30 years for them. All right, Kerry's out of here. Kerry's out of here. If I do 5 straight picks and nobody's here, I'm picking a name from the chat, and then we'll do randoms again for the second winner. All right. Start. Confirm. 1 shuffle. Start. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. 4, 3, 2, 1. Q the God. Come on, Q. Q's an often listener. Come on, Q. Chip is here. SC Bird says, how do I get on that list? You're on the list, my guy. You're a member. Wild Bear. So is this still Legends? No, this is regular members. Regular members. Z, the first few names are never here. You're right. But Mad Bird's often in here. Or Q the God, not Mad Bird. Q the God's often in here. In honor of Flex. Get him out of here. Come on, Q. Come on, Q. How do you do that, BMO? Tell me how to do that. Tell me what the site is or the bot. I'll look for it. All right. Where is Flex? I think Flex locked in on WrestleMania. Yeah, this is hilarious. Frosty Walrus. Well, by the way, great name. Frosty Walrus. All right. Frosty Walrus. Love it. He says, great show, Zan. Thank you, bro. We need a Uchi Uchi Walla Walla Bing Bang jersey. Yo, that is great. That is freaking great. Oh, man. Uchi Uchi Walla Walla Bing Bang. Frosty's about to win a giveaway just for that comment. All right, Q, you're done. Let's go. Start. Come on. I need a winner, man. I need a winner. One shuffle. Start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Richard Rosania. Come on. Come on, Richard. Now this thing's frozen again. My computer's acting a fool, bro. My computer has been struggling. That's Raw Z. What do you mean, Rick? Or Rizzy? Rizzy 68 Scott. I like that name, too. Is Rosani in here? Yeah, Ricky, I did, bro. I got the navies. I want the greens, but they're too much. Like $600 still, bro. Still. Rizzy says my beard's looking dope. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. It's coming in a little better now, but still got a ways to go. Yeah, M-Race, that's my problem. I got the M1s, and now the M1s are outdated. When the M1s first came out, they were so good. They're still good. It's still good. It's just starting to crap on me a little bit. So I got to get like the what are they up to? M3 or M4 now? All right. Let it grow. I'm trying, Abe. I'm trying. I'm probably going to let it go for at least like a month. You know, see where we are on May 1st. All right. I think I started at the beginning of April. So we'll see where we are. M4 we're up to? Good night. Apple releases products faster than anybody, man. It's insane. It's insane. At least 2 years? Abe, holy shit. You got a big-ass beard? I don't remember you having a big-ass beard last time I talked to you. I have an M1 too. Bryce, I don't normally have many issues. It's just when I'm doing like a lot of the production stuff with video and stuff that it really starts to go. And then you can see like I got a lot of tabs open. Now this thing is frozen. See that? So I just click back. It's not going. Yeah, it's all goofy. A little janky. Yeah, I'm in the process of making a move on a truck right now because they're giving me way too much for my truck. So I want to get out of it. I have so much equity in it. All right, here we go. Regular giveaway winner, JAKIB Member. Thank you all to our members. 366 of you. Appreciate it. Start. Race, I use them all. I got Brave browser. I got Chrome browser. Chrome really sucks. That's what I'm on. That's what I do the shows from is Chrome. But Chrome uses up way too much, way too many gigabytes of RAM. It's ridiculous. So I don't know what's up with that. Brandon, I'm with you. Half my beard don't grow, so I'll never have a beard. My greatest disappointment. Yeah, I'm not too happy with mine either. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, I wish it came in like a big full-face beard. That'd be sick. I don't know. Maybe it'll, like, I don't know. Can someone who's older than me tell me? Like, will it come in better when I'm 40, or is this it? Like, I'm 27 in a month, so I feel like I'm old enough. It'll probably not get much better, you know? Joe Webb says, how much RAM? I think I have 32, which is a lot. I paid a lot for the upgrade, I think. All right. I think I'm up to 32 on both. I got this I think might be an M2 because I bought this later. This is the big MacBook. And then I have the iMac. I have a studio. I got all sorts of stuff. All right. You got to let it come in ugly at first. That's what I'm doing, SC Birds fan. As you lose hair on top of your head, more will come in. I don't know. I'm with Shane. Shane says it doesn't get better. Well, Shane, how's it look? This is my peak then. All right. All right. This is my peak then. It takes alcohol to make it grow. I don't drink at all, so that's not good. All right. That's not good. All right, here we go. One shuffle. Start. I'm getting a new truck though. All the truck people know. Who drives a truck? Anybody in one of those new Fords or anything, or a new Ram? I got to get a new one. Dirty Air! Come on, Dirty Air. Are you here? Are you here? Yeah, that's what I got to do, Eduardo. I got to get it lined up. You're right. I've never done it, Eduardo. I've never done that. I've never figured out where to actually line it up and stuff. So I'll do that, Eduardo. I got to get a nice barber, bro. Ew, Kirsten, I hate Chevys. I hate Chevys. They drive clunky as hell. They're trash. The interior is chintzy. I don't like Chevy. I never have liked Chevy trucks or GMC. Right now I got a 2019 Ram 1500 Laramie. It was the new motor when it first came out, the new body style, 5th generation. Fucking truck is the best. I'm having a hard time getting rid of it because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one as good. I love my truck. My girl loves my truck. My family loves my truck. My truck is badass, man. You get in my truck, the interior feels upper echelon. It drives perfectly. Great interior, great room. I have the Ram box because I'm not like a trades worker, so I can live with a little bit of a smaller bed. I love it, man. I love it. So I'm having a hard time, but the problem is, the dealerships call me and they're giving me crazy number right now. Like they're giving me $5,000 above what Kelly Blue Book said it's worth. And I don't owe much on it. Like I'm way in the green on it. I'm not underwater on it at all. So I think the right move is to get out of it. And this isn't true anymore, man. The Tundras have been struggling, bro. All right. The Tundras have been struggling. They used to be the most reliable trucks on the market, the Toyotas. Look into the Toyota recalls recently, bro. Look into the recalls recently on Toyota. It's crazy. Bob says, then keep what you have. Bob, the problem with what I have is I'm up to 65,000 miles. I'm averaging about 18,000 miles a year. So I'm a couple years out from 100K. I know 100K is not that much. Believe me, I'm not one of those people, but my mom has worked at a car dealer her whole life. So I've always been able to kind of move in and out of cars pretty easily because she works the manager. She tells me to, helps me get a better deal. But Donner, I'm not the kind of guy that would drive it to 200K. So I'd rather keep it fresher, man. I'd rather keep it more fresh. And they're giving me insane value. Dude, if you get it, the short bed F-150s with a 5.0. The problem with that, Ricky, is it's not practical. That's like a man car where it's almost like buying a sports car. You got 2 seats in that thing. Yo, Lucius, you just won a giveaway. Well, here, I'm right. The good thing is, how old's your Tacoma? Yeah, my 19's up to 63, bro. Nah, I'm not going that. I'm not going that expensive, bro. I'm not spending that on a truck. I'm not spending that. The guy on the phone was trying to talk me into the tungsten, the new Ram, which is insane. That the tungsten is wild, bro. Is wild. He was trying to talk me into it, and he, dude, $1,000 a month for a car, for a truck. I'm like, come on, man. I'm not doing that. I got too much equity in my truck right now. So my like everything is favorable for me. My payment's low as hell. I don't owe that much money on it. I have boatload of value in it, or a boatload of equity in it. So kind of a struggle. Dirty Air lost out. So hate to see it on Dirty Air. Member giveaway. I'm about to pick a name. Anything above 650 is too much. Yeah, I'm well above that or below that on my truck right now. It's definitely cheaper to keep it. But here's the thing. I got new brakes coming up. I got new tires coming up. Out of warranty. Now, I'm the type of dude who will do stuff on my truck to keep it in good shape. My truck is perfect. I will change it every 5,000 miles. Perfect. I maintenance my truck perfectly. So I'm not afraid of that. But the tires, the brakes coming up, all those things coming up. I mean, just your regular maintenance when you get to 60+ thousand miles that I have coming up. And I've never gotten new brakes on the truck. So, like, do I want to spend $4 or $5 grand on new tires, new brakes, new all those things? I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. Yeah, it's still a Ram. You're right. You know, I'll tell you what, though. I love my 2019. All right. Yeah, you'll need a lot of supers to help that bill. You're right. We'll see what I end up doing. I know I'm getting emails every day. The guy's working me. I'm a Mopar guy. I'm a Ford guy too, though. I don't I prefer a Mustang over a Charger. That's just me. I just love the Mustang. So I'm not really attached to. See, this is what they're trying to work me on, Rizzy. He wants to lease. I've always bought my car. I like buying shit. Like, I want to own shit. But at the end of the day, a car is a depreciating asset. You know, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to buy them if you're fine with the payment. So he's trying to get me into a new lease where it gives me a bunch of money back from the equity I have. I can get out of it in 3 years. And the reason it's interesting to me is because I mostly move out of my cars in 3 years. And now remember, I do have a little bit of an advantage because my mom's worked at the dealership for 25 years. So she helps me out with, like, she knows all the people, the managers, she's friends with them all. So they give me good value. My Charger, I've had 10 years. Oh, that's dope. I've had my truck for 4 years, 3 or 4 years now, 3 years maybe. Again, I love it. It's hard to get rid of. That's why I haven't gotten rid of it. All right. Yeah, I agree, Jason. If you're going to buy it, just buy it outright. But nah, she doesn't work. No, not Sloan. She works Fred Beans, Siglord. All right. Who's the dude who just said JNS? Yeah, Abe. I love George. I love his YouTube channel. You follow him on YouTube too? They're great, bro. Watching him negotiate with people is awesome. It's awesome. Well, it's already a JAKIB vehicle. Everything gets write-off. Let's be real. I'm a business owner, so everything I do is written off. I want to wrap it too. That's the one thing I don't like about the lease. Like, can I wrap it? I mean, I can. I know I can, but do I want to wrap a leased car? The other thing is, like, do I just pay off my truck now, drive it to 150, wrap it, do the maintenance, and not worry about it? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not typically fond of, driving a car to 150,000 miles if I don't have to, though. So we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. I'll keep you guys posted. Yeah, I agree, Emrace. Nobody falls. Believe me, I get good-ass deals. I win every negotiation. I don't let car people fleece me, mostly because my mom knows the ins and outs of the business. All right, here we go. New winner. Come on. We got no regular winners yet today. Only 2 legends. Come on. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. RC3. RC3 has been in Cilio's chat every day. All right. The old heads I know will say the best truck is the one that's paid off. That's not wrong, bro. Keep your truck, get something you're like, nah, Rizzy, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not buying 2 cars. I'm not there in my life yet, bro. I'm gonna get a house. Like, that's not smart for me at this point. As much as I like car, believe me, if you wanted me to be stupid, Rizzy, I'll walk into that dealership right now and walk home with a GT 500. All right. I got perfect credit. I'll get approved. Everything I need to do, I'll get it. I even got equity in the truck to be able to pull it out. But I don't want to be stupid. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Hugh. I'm trying to buy a house. Which is the market on houses is still crazy. Sell your Ram and get more stuff for the giveaways. I love it. Can you just give it to him, Z? He's always here and live. Yeah, he's a big guy. He's always here on He's always here. But you can see it's frozen again over here. I don't know what's going on. Keeps deleting my names. Wayne says leasing is a waste of money. Yeah, but here's the problem, Wayne, is that the whole thing is, I mean, cars are, in a way, if you dumb cars down to, are they a waste of money? Fucking every car is a waste of money. Like, I can go buy a $50,000 truck today. I drive it off the lot. It's worth $38,000. So, like, there's no really great value. I will say, I bought my truck. I got a great deal on my truck. And if I get the number that they're giving me on the trade value, it was really cheap for me to have for the last 3 years. Really cheap for me to have for the last. Like, it worked out well, way well. Like, my average would have been like $200 a month cost. That's how good I'm getting out of it. A vehicle is about the worst thing to spend your money on. Yeah, I agree. There's vehicles I like that are worth it to me. All right. I got a Ram 1500 Laramie Sport. Great truck, man. Love my truck. All right. Confirm. 1 shuffle. Nah, I hate GMCs. Hate them. My dad had a Denali. He hated it too. 4, 3, 2, 1. Como se llama? Como se llama? Come on. Come on. Come on. I love Como se llama. He's here all the time. Good Spanish, Sam. I don't think so. I almost failed Spanish in high school. Legitimately. I had in high school, I had this awesome Spanish teacher. That's what I'll call her. How about that? Awesome. All right. I'm going to pick someone soon. All right. I'm going to pick someone soon. I had this awesome Spanish teacher. This great Spanish lady. All right. Boy, I almost failed that class. She used to joke with me. I had legitimately a 70. That's what I passed. I passed with a 70, which is 1 score above passing. And my school was 70. 69 was an F. I had a 70. I got out of Spanish with a 70. And where I went to high school, you were required to take Latin for 2 years. I got out of Latin both years with a 70 on the dot. Oh, man, that shit's funny. Yes, she did, Siglord. All right. She did. That's why I'm laughing. Great teacher, though. She was funny. All right, Como se llama. I'm about to pick somebody, bro. Kirsten, I'm going to pick you if I get to that point. I want to pick Kirsten. She's here all the time. Great member. Been here for 3 years. Let's do one more pull. Rich isn't even a member, so he won't get picked. Confirm. 1 shuffle. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dullahan Monster. One more pull gets it done. I got another giveaway. We have 2 winners today, so we're just trying to get the first one done. Dullahan, are you out there? Mucho me gusta, Xander. Stop it. Stop it. All right. I don't do Spanish. I speak English. All right. I speak English only, man. I apologize. I'm an English guy. That's it. Dullahan Monster. Is he out there? Well, you don't drive very much, Paul. That's crazy. 9 years and you've only put 70,000 miles on it? Dude, I average 18K a year. All right. I average 18K a year. Miles. Professor Fiddlesworth could use a Super Bowl jersey. Professor Fiddlesworth could also use a member, a JAKIB member. All right. Dullahan, are you here? Dullahan's done. Lucius, you won. You got to email me, all right? You won. You won the legend giveaway. All right, Lucius. Congratulations. I know you've been waiting on a W. All right, first winner I'm going to give to Kirsten. Kirsten, congratulations. Ready? Let's do it. Let's do it. Kirsten Carter. Ready? Member winner. All right, ready? Here we go. Here we go. Let's see who wins. Let's see who wins. All right. Let's see who wins. Whoa! Kirsten Carter. 3, 2, 1. Kirsten Carter is your winner. You forgot the shuffle. How could I forget the shuffle? How could I forget the shuffle? All right. All right, Kirsten, drop me an email. I'll send you out a nice JAKIB Super Bowl shirt. All right. Or Eagle Super Bowl shirt. Drop it in there. There you go, Kirsten. We appreciate your support. All right. We appreciate your support. Now I got Kirsten's name highlighted, so I got to get the new list here. All right, here we go. Let's try and get another winner here. Let's try and get another winner. Huge W for Kirsten. Kirsten, drop me an email, or I think I have you on social. So if you want to DM me, whatever you want to do, I don't care. All right, I don't really care. Start. Confirm. One shuffle. Start. I might start adding like one giveaway winner I pick each week. 1. James McBride. James McBride. Come on, James. Not James M. All right. Not to be confused with James M. All right. I got you, Kirsten. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I really do. Cardinals tight end. Nah, not that bum. All right. Now, Brandon, we got to do something for Brandon Howard. I keep saying this, but Brandon, I really owe you. Nah, see, bad deal. I can move into my truck, get a lower payment, and get cash back. So speaking of house, I can get cash back and put that toward my down payment on a home. That's what I'm thinking of doing. It's actually more the opposite. It's actually more the opposite right now, where I have like a weird scenario where I have so much equity in my truck. I could get into a new truck, a brand new truck, get cash back, and lower my payment. That would be the best move for me. I want a truck though. I don't want to. The only car I would buy that's not a truck right now is I would buy an Escalade. If I could afford it, but I can't. I can't afford an Escalade. But that would be the only other car I would buy. If I wasn't buying a truck, I'd buy an Escalade. And then if you're talking about second car, yeah, I'd go like I'd get something small and fun and fast. All right, here we go. Come on. We need a winner. I want a winner. Start. Cadillac V. Abe, that car is crazy, bro. 3, 2, 1. Brandon Mingo. The hell is that? Only Brandon I know is B. Howe. B. Howard. Still got 243 in here. Still got a pretty good amount of people. That's what I'm getting, Bob Brown, a bucket Kango. Actually, let me put on the bucket for Bob. I'm going to have to put on the bucket for Bob. Let me put on the bucket for Bob. I freaking love this bucket. In fact, I wore this bucket out this weekend and it looked fire. All right. So I was rocking the bucket out this weekend. Brandon Mingo. That's who I was thinking of. All right. This system is so messed up right now. All right. Start. Confirm. One shuffle. Start. Come on. That's a house-only hat. Rich, F off. No, it's not. I had an ESV Escalade. Yeah, that used to be the JAKIB Mobile back in the day, bro. One. Auto Sky. Come on, Auto Sky. Come on. Xander, those would look dope with the Oreo Jordans. Yeah, I got to get a nice pair of Jordans to match this hat. That'd be cool. All right. Come on, Autos. No, not a Cybertruck guy. Nah. I do like Tesla. Like, I'm not a Tesla hater at all, but I just wouldn't get it. I'm not in a position right now to have an electric car. Matt Dio, I know how it works, bro. Thank you. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I know how it works, though. If you lease a car, it's a very small loan. It's a very small loan. All right? It's a very small loan. Joe says, finally, a Kango I like. Joe, you didn't strike me as a Kango guy. Joe, you want to see what I wear on the golf course? I could rock this on the golf course. I could rock this on the golf course. I could rock this on the golf course. See, I like the 507s for the golf course. I'm leaning more toward the Ram right now, Eduardo, because they're giving me the best deal. I was going to go Ford, but Ford came back. The numbers on the Fords were ridiculous. Look, see, the 507s work forward. I don't like the 504s forward because they sit flat. See that, though? This one's 504, sits flat. So I like this backwards like this for the shows. But this here is a golf hat. That's a golf hat. Here's another golf hat. That's a nice one with the pink stripe. That's a little Eastery right there, isn't it? I like this one too. The cranberry. Boom. There you go. So I got the Kangos for golf too, bro. All right. There you go. I'm going back to the bucket. The bucket gives me power. All right. The bucket gives me power. You guys might not like it, but the bucket gives me power. I'm going to do a full day of content in this soon. All right. All right. All right. Adios is done. I'd rock the cranberry. The cranberry's fire. All right. Start. Wild Bear, you don't have to tell me this. That's what I do. My whole life is like this. Maybe to a fault, Wild Bear. I don't let anybody tell me what to do. And sometimes that upsets some people. You know, people want to have a say. I'm not the kind of guy that wants anybody to have a say. Okay? Oh, God, this damn thing is driving me nuts. It's M1, guys. It's crapping on me. Start! Come on! Come on! 4, 3, 2, Devin Parker! Come on, man! No, I don't got a pair of red bottoms, Abe. All right. You're right, Shane. That's true, my man. That's true. Rizzy says different flavors. Be who you are. Believe me, Rizzy, you don't got to worry about that. I'll always be who I am. I think that's part of the reason that you guys like me, because I'm who I am. I'm not the same as you guys. You guys aren't the same as me, but we got our similarities and our differences. You know. Now, Rich, I didn't get it. You know, Rich, I've been looking at it, and I don't like it as much as I thought I did. I think it's a little overrated. Is Devin Parker here, though? Because my boy Devin deserves a W. All right? Come on, Devin. Are you out here? Yeah, Kirsten, you remember the meaning of this hat, right? This is my Johnson hat. Where's my boy? Oh, he's back there. He's on the all right. Need a Z and a Kango emoji. Yeah, I got to get that up. All right. I got to get that up. I'll get that up there. I'll swap out the one now for one in the hat. All right, Devin's done. I'm getting pissed. I'm getting pissed. Why are so many people here that aren't members? That's my what the hell. Come on. What? Start. Come on. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keith Higgins sounds like a no-show. Keith sounds like a no-show. Because I used to be a member, stop hating. Oh, Rich, I'll hate, bro. You can't tell me to stop hating. I saw you hating earlier today. All right? I saw you hating earlier today. Come on, Keith. Are you out there? They're here for the intellectual conversation we're having. We're having a good conversation about Kangos, cars, Eagles, you name it. We're talking it. All right? You name it. We're talking it. You name it. We're talking it. Hell nah. Next. Wilfredo, good to see you, my guy. Why are these names not saving? This is driving me crazy. This shit driving me crazy. Kirsten, did you email me yet, or are you preoccupied by people in the chat? Start! Come on! 4, 3, 2, 1. Didn't this guy already get picked today? Bullshit ass picker. Oh, are you kidding me, dude? This guy got picked, didn't he? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? Q-tip? Rigged. Yeah, you're right. I rigged it. Just pick Professor Fiddlesworth and call it a day. Fiddlesworth, you're a gray. Oh, my God. Wild Bear win? Wild Bear, I might gift you. All right? You're going to be my next manual pick. I'm showing the ladies some love. We got some ladies here who deserve some love for supporting JAKIB so much. All right? Come on. Confirm. Start. Look, I'm picking only women today, and all the men are crying like women. It's funny how that works. 3, 2, 1. Cody K! Whoa! Come on, Cody. I know you're out there. I know Cody's out there. Come on, Cody. I know Cody's out there. No transitioning in the JAKIB chat, all right? Come on, none of that. None of that. It's Good Friday. I don't want to talk about that. Come on. I know Cody's in here. He's got to be. Where's my guy, Cody? He's here. I know he's here. I know Cody's here. Let me write down all my winners. I still got to send Bird Gang Girls shirt and who else? Fleming shirt. All right, we got Kirsten. Carter won. There he is. There's my boy. Kirsten Carter won, and Cody K. My boy Cody K. A true legend in the JAKIB streets. Yeah, Shane, how can you blame me, dude? I mean, come on. What do these people want from me, Shane? They want me to be a cupcake. I'm not. Never have been, never will be. All right. Winner. All right, Cody, I got your email, so I'll email you. Kirsten, you got to reach out to me. I gave you my info. You already got me on socials. Lucius, the show, I know I have your email, but please reach out to me. And Josh B, I already DM'd him. Already DM my boy Josh. All right. So let me get that done. Zander is being sexist. Well, it's a good thing I can be whatever the hell I want. Cody. I can be whatever the hell I want. All right. Hit that like button. Look at him. He wins a giveaway. He's still helping Jacob out. Who do you think our week 1 game will be against? Oh, good question. Good question. I don't think they're going to use the Lions that early. I don't think that makes sense. Maybe Dallas. Maybe Dallas, Fiddlesworth. Maybe Commanders. I doubt that, though. Maybe the Bears are an interesting wild card, too. Sleeper, like with the new coach, I could see them doing that. I think they're going to hold off on Lions because, remember, guys, there is business in the first game selection. So, like, they're going to get ratings on week 1. Like, they're going to get ratings. It's the first NFL game. So many people wait for it. So, I don't think they, need to use it, if that makes sense. Like, I think they would move that back in the year. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That'd be great, though, to beat up on the Lions week 1 because we never got that. We never got that matchup in the playoffs last year. I wanted that matchup in the playoffs. How good would it feel to win the Super Bowl? I haven't gotten through the Lions. Would have been great. But yeah, it would be one hell of a way to open the seasons. Browns and play against Pickett. That's a lame match, Shane. All right. The Giants will take Shadur. It'll be them. That's actually an interesting one, Bob. If they took Shadur, I could see that happening. And we'll probably destroy them. Oh, man. Giants week 1. All right, everybody. Last question. It's not Eagles related. Eagles-Rams week 1. That's a sleeper. Great one, Lucius. Great one in week 1 there. All right, last question for you guys of the day before I go. We got 4 winners today. Big congrats to all of you guys. I love all you guys, by the way. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys make this very fun to do. You make it a great place, a great community, a great legion of fans I think we have here on JAKIB. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of the community. I'm proud of all you guys because what's a community without good members? Like, I could be up here talking, but if we have a bunch of shit people, we don't. We got great people, man. We got smart people. We got good people. We got real people. We got all sorts of people. We got all different types of people, all different walks of life, all different, religions, races, colors, and creeds, all sorts of different things. So I do love it, man. It's really cool. It's a melting pot, and I've always loved that. I'm not the type of dude who wants to just be around, one type of people. I like the melting pot. I like talking to different people from all different walks of life and all sorts of stuff. So I'm proud of the community we got, man, and we appreciate all you guys. So Josh B, Lucius the Show, Kirsten Carter, and Cody K. All right, thank you all. Thank you guys so much. All right, for supporting JAKIB, for being here every day. It means a lot to me. My last question of the day is, assuming I get a new truck. Should I get a Ram or should I get a Ford? I think the Ram is coming out cheaper, which is wild because the Fords used to be way cheaper. All right. I'm probably gonna do this anyway, Abe. I've already talked to the rep. No, I'm not getting a Toyota. I'm not a Toyota nerd. You guys can be the Toyota nerds. I'm sorry. Mesmerized says Ford. Ram, Ford. Bob says Ford. F the Ford. Ram is hot and beast. The Rams aren't good looking, man. You want to see my truck? Let me pull up a picture of my truck, of my current truck that I'm getting rid of. I'll show you guys my current truck. There's my current truck now, my Ram. It's hot. It's got the Laramie, the sport hood, sport wheels. I'll share this so I can share it on the screen. I don't lift it or anything. I didn't do that. I don't need it for that or anything. Yeah, my color is cool. It's like a it's like one color, and then like when the sun hits it, it's like a whole new color, you know? It's one of those. But there it is. There's my truck right there. It's a great looking truck. That's why I don't want to get rid of it. I freaking love it. I absolutely freaking love it. It's a great truck. It's a great truck. So there it is. That's it. Do I get rid of it? Do I move to a new Ram? Do I get an F-150? Rich says, your truck have training wheels, Z? Rich, you want to hear a story about me? All right, you want to hear a story about me? Paid off and lease a Mustang. Bob's now talking my language. What trim are you looking into? So, Eduardo, I'm picky, bro. I need leather interior. I will refuse to get a truck without leather. So you need I'm probably going Laramie minimum for Ram, and I'm probably going Lariat minimum for Ford. TRX is too much. Dullahan, you just won a giveaway. Where the hell were you? Where were you, Dullahan? Worry about a new vehicle after you get the house. The problem is, Race, they're giving me huge value because of all the tariffs and the bullshit and everything. So the Ram people are really trying to move trucks. So they're giving me, Race, they're giving me $5,000 above my Kelly Blue Book. $5,000 above my Kelly Blue Book. Like, bro, that's, oh, the tremors are nice. And they got V8. You can get the ones with the V8. SB Ricky, I would only get a tremor if it had the V8, though. I would only get the tremor if it had the V8. I'm lobbying for Ram. Yeah. We'll see. My truck is good looking, though, isn't it? All right, where's the dude who said I got training wheels? That dummy. All right, who wants to hear a story? Here's a story before I leave on Zander time. And it's about training wheels. This guy just brought it into my head. All right, so my brother's 2 years older than me. All right, so I was 1, he was 3. I was 2, he was 4. And our birthdays are both in May. All right, I'm May 10th. He's May 24th. So we're right about the same time. He's almost exactly 2 years older than me. All right, almost exactly 2 years older than me. My brother was 3 years old when he learned how to really ride a bike with training wheels. All right, 3 years old. He's 3.5, and I'm 1.5, about to turn 2. All right. It's the only thing I remember from my child. I might have been 2.5. Whenever it was. My brother, who's 2 years older than me, was riding his bike outside. My parents bought me my first bike. He was on his training wheels in the driveway. My dad puts me on my bike. No training wheels. And I immediately go right by my brother, who's 2 years older than me, still on trainer. He looks at me like, where the hell you go? I go all the way around the block. And when I get back, I didn't know how to stop, so I struggled at the end. But anyway, I never used training wheels a day in my life on a bike. Ever. Not a day in my life. My parents will vouch for that story. My dads will vouch. My brother will vouch for that story. I've always been balanced and good on the bike. All right. I love bikes. I do. I love bikes. I don't understand what your reservations not to do it. No. Are you talking about the car? I don't have any reservations. I'm just waiting. I'm just trying to make the decision now. All right. Does it have cats? I know. I love George. George, he's funny, man. Abe, his YouTube channel is really entertaining, dude. He's good, man. He's good. Ford built tough. Under 70K. Z's truck barely graduated kindergarten. It's true. It's true. All right. It's true. All right, everybody. I'm getting out of here. Nah, Denali, get out of here. I don't want a damn Denali. We had one of them. They're trash. I didn't like it. Fucking chintzy interior, clunky ass drive. Nothing nice about it. Nothing worked well. Cheap radio, cheap touchscreen. I'm out on GMC. I'm out on Chevy. I know there's a large contingency of Chevy people. All right. Not for me, bro. I'll go Ford. I'll go Ram. All right. Wild Bear, see ya. Cody K, send it over. I owe you the giveaway, so I'll reach out to you. All right. The reservation is the dealership acting like a fool. Nah, remember, it doesn't happen to me. If you listen to me, Reyes, if you listen to me, I don't think you do. You listen to 30%. If you listen to me, Reyes, you would understand that my mom's been working at the car dealership for 25 years. 25 years. She knows every GM. She knows every deal. She knows every rebate. She knows how to get me the max value. Most people aren't in my position with the trucks. I'll acknowledge that because I have the ability to move in and out with my mom, who helps me out and talks to the managers and works me these crazy deals. So now the dealership's not the problem. The dealership's not the problem. Also, I want a colored truck. Are we done with black? I want a black car or a white car or a gray car. It's like, bro, fucking everybody has black or white or gray. I want a blue. I want a blue or a red or a green. Yo, mesmerized. Don't tempt me, bro. GT350R. Come on. Mad Dio's like trying to manage my entire financial picture. Dio, I got it. Thank you, bro. Good night. All right. I love all you guys. See you next time, everybody. Congrats to our winners.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.